Hello.
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 Casmo. Person of the interweb, Casmo.
Right.
Used to be a Z-list celebrity. What happened?
It's just, yeah.
I'd
lack
argue
of engagement.
He still is. I would argue.
Nah, that's an upgrade.
Hey, Douglas.
Gentlemen.
How are you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Waiting to see if the internet's going to work or not.
I hope it doesn't. I hope you just freeze.
Thanks.
Show. Or it's like,
Thanks.
hey guys.
It'll happen.
Yeah, don't worry.
Used to be Gonky's.
Spectrum
Now it's you.
Internet
Now it's you.
has failed me, and now it's a common theme, and I don't know what the problem is.
Casmo, I tell you what, I was the guy for like the first 2 episodes and never had a problem, but it stuck with me, man.
Yeah.
That's what goes to show. First
You got
impression.
yours fixed. You had a guy come out and check all your wiring and fix all your wiring, and now
Upgrade. Yep. Bought another computer and
there's nothing I like. I'm like Super Troopers. I can't pull over anymore. There's nothing left for me to do. We're too poor to have fiber out here in the sticks, so I have the old cable. Even Doug's got fiber.
Well,
I do.
so sorry, man.
Yeah.
So sorry. Too bad.
Casmo, welcome back.
Prayers.
Welcome back to our show, Casmo. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I couldn't come last week.
That's what she said.
Not to me, she didn't.
Casmo, what you been up to, man?
Oh, you know, flying lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Trash talking Gonky.
Actually, I've been sitting on my butt a lot. With just a couple like back-to-back trips where like I have nothing to do or plane breaks, and I'm just like sitting. I spent 4 days in Detroit just hanging out.
Awesome.
That's a great place to just hang out.
Oh, it was tremendous. Yeah, it was real great.
There's good places to hang out, and then there's Detroit.
Detroit, exactly. Yeah, that's Socrates said that, I believe.
Mike Tyson, famous quote.
Yes, Tyson.
Everyone has a plan until they end up in Detroit.
That's it.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
Man. You know, it's been a weekend for aviation. We got a lot to talk about. So should we begin?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Sure.
So, Doug, it doesn't appear you have this article up yet.
Terrible.
I see. It looks like a strike eagle, not a Ukraine drone attack.
That's and what I put up just then is still wrong. Here we go.
Perfect.
So this weekend, and what may be the largest coordinated drone attack or most consequential coordinated drone attack ever, Ukraine, basically over 18 months, they coordinated this thing with truck drivers and a warehouse deep inside of Russia. We're talking 4,000 kilometers away from Ukraine, which is a lot, even in American speak. And they assembled these drones and then rented these trucks, and the drivers allegedly had no idea. And then the trucks took off. The drones then launched from the trucks with these little fiber optic cables, so not jammable, and took out a big chunk of Russia's bomber fleet. And
like 30%, 40%. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think the total was 40 aircraft affected, possibly including an A-50, which I think that was one of their last ones. I mean, they were down to 3 or 4.
They're not making some of those bombers either, so it's not like they're going to replace them. Yeah.
Tu-95, they're not going to make again. So that's their nuclear triad, right? That's one of the things. And there was a rumor, and I don't know if this was confirmed or not, that they had attacked the sub base as well. So it was 4 different airfields and then possibly the sub base. Doug, you have some of that? Yeah, so here you go.
Something close to an FSB base as well, FSB headquarters.
I think the FSB, that's where they built them, in the warehouse. So look at this, dude. Straight out of a Tom Clancy novel. These quadcopter drones.
I'm going to kill the sound because it might
it's just a guy yelling bad things in Russian.
Play
it.
Yeah, just go ahead and say it, Mover.
Well, Americans don't know what that means.
Hold on, let me ask.
Borscht.
Yeah, see, we don't know what it means. fine.
That's wild, dude.
This is thrilling. It's a good video.
Let's move on to the next one.
Yes.
Or not.
How about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dude, that's the little containers they were in. I mean,
Yeah, that's inside the truck.
shipping containers inside trucks with the drones. And so the best part, somebody was asking, they're like, hey, why are they telling us what Operation Spiderweb was and, you know, how they did it? Well, because now shipping in Russia has come to a gridlock because they think every truck is a possible drone carrier. And so the, you know, 9/11 style effects where we, you know, overreact after a major surprise attack, second and third order effects. And it's something that is going to change warfare substantially for a long time. You know, this is, you know, the analogy being, you know, not in the sense that, because people got mad at me when I said this, but it's their 9/11 or Pearl Harbor in the sense that this was a new tactic, unconventional surprise attack that changed the face of what happened next, changed the face of the war, changed the face of how the conflict persisted. And they were caught flat-footed. They didn't know about it. They didn't have any warning about it. Even the Americans and Western allies allegedly didn't know about it, although I think Lindsey Graham was over there.
Can you blame them?
Yeah. But Doug, you got the actual video? There it is. And these drones, so they're FPV drones. They were targeting specific spots on these bombers. Like they've got tires on that one. They were targeting specific spots on the bombers, the weakest points, and like parts with fuel cells, parts that you know, even if they had only partially destroyed them, would take forever. And I think, I don't remember if this video or another one, they were actually going into hangars too. So like open hangar door, they could still get in, which now begs the question, and I turn this over to the discussion, gentlemen. How in trouble are we? In the sense
Horrible
that
trouble.
we've been talking about this as a threat. You know, Gonky and I had that conversation prior, and they said, hey, keep banging the drum there, because that's definitely something that is a concern. But now we've seen it in action, and we know China's bought a whole bunch of farmland around our military bases, and they are very prolific in drone manufacturing and development. Terrorist organizations have used drones. I mean, we saw it in the Middle East. We've now seen this here. We've seen it smaller scale with them just attacking. I mean, dude, think about this. Not only are our aircraft, right, but your pilots getting to work, you know, if they find out who, what, when, where. I mean, this is I don't know how you stop this. Like once the Pandora's box is open, like I don't know now what you do. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Gonky, what do you think? Or Casmo, sorry, you seem to be talking, so I apologize.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's been open though. Like I said this 10 years ago when I worked at the FAA. So when I worked at the FAA as an interagency guy, is when the dude flew the gyrocopter from like Pennsylvania and landed on the Congress, like the lawn of the you know, the White House or whatever. And you come to find out like nobody saw him because nobody was looking for him because of the way radar works at ATC and stuff. And then even at that time, again, this was 10 years ago, the FAA was big, like worried about drones and stuff. And their big worry was like, well, if we put up a TFR, how does Farmer John, who's using a drone to check his fence line, know that he's in a TFR and things like that? They've sort of solved that problem with technology. But I remember saying like, well, what's to prevent some dude from like parking 30 micro drones on the approach end of the runway and just chewing up an airliner or something? So honestly, I'm surprised it's taken this long for something like this to happen. And the interesting part, of course, is as you've talked about, is the depth at which they did it. But everybody's fucked. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to use that word, but everybody's screwed because unless things have dramatically changed in like the 3 years since I left the military, like every base is wide open. Like there's no like people think the military, everybody's walking around with weapons and all this stuff. Like everybody's ready to go. It's like going to work at IBM. Like, you know, you just go to work. Well, no one has weapons and no one's securing anything.
It's funny you say that, because if we listen to the audio of that one video with the guy saying the words that I used anyway, you can hear him popping off rounds at the drones unsuccessfully.
Yeah, and they were throwing rocks, and
Yeah, I mean they were trying, and nothing. I mean, dude, you got to be an excellent marksman.
Right. And it's swarm tactics. Like, that's the thing too.
Right.
Like, so what? You shot down 2 of them. Well, there's 8 more, or whatever. So
right. And conventional radar, I mean, number one, small radar cross section. 2, they're already there. There's no early warning. It's not like, double digit SAMs are going to be taking these things out, because you're inside of, I mean, dude,
you're inside the OODA loop.
Yeah, you're already in a bad position. And one of the things that was interesting, that was one of the articles we brought up, and I think there was a treaty. The reason bombers are out in the open is there's a treaty between the nuclear powers, so that we can see them on the satellite, right? We know, they know, all that stuff. Well, we just, now what, right? I mean, dude, that...
Not only that, it's impractical. Like, think about how many bombers we have, how many bombers they have. It's impractical to have hangars for all that. Like, it's just not, I don't think it's practical. But yeah, no, this is huge. And then, like, and it was kind of alluded to in the comments as well. And this is what I thought about earlier, is like, okay, cool. What's the response going to be? Because as you said at the beginning, like, part of the nuclear triad. Well, how would you react if part of your 3-legged dog just got knocked out? Like, like, I think this is cool, like, at a tactical level, like, oh, this is awesome. Strategically, like, foreign policy relations, like, it scares the crap out of me.
Right as they're talking, negotiations for peace talks, like the day prior to, hey, we're supposed to be doing peace talks. And that means
planned it.
18 months ago, they knew about this. So when they're in the Oval Office and, everybody's saber rattling and, oh, we're going to walk away and stuff, they knew about it the entire time. This wasn't surprise to anyone.
I imagine it's something that they could turn off pretty easily. I mean, you just flip the switch. I guess, I don't know, but no, it's I mean, it's fascinating to think about how much work and effort has gone into this. So,
Gonky?
Yeah, I mean, movie, you kind of touched on it, like the various levels that you can use this technology, and the tactics are, it gets really scary and crazy when you start thinking about it. We mentioned it before, when we were talking about defending military bases. I mean, whose job is that?
Security forces.
Right. But I mean, what if it's, I mean,
they're the best defenders.
It is, but are they properly equipped? And that's the question that has to be answered, is like, your every base has got to be covered with jammers, right? And like anything else, you create something, then you counter it. So how long before they've got jam, like we said, the fiber optic stuff? I mean, how do you jam that?
Well, and not only that, but you're sending out trons. Like, if you're EMP or jammers, now you're affecting your own GPS. You're affecting your own ability to land in bad weather or night, or bad conditions that are not day VFR. You're affecting all the infrastructure. You think the internet's bad now on a military base? Just wait till your cell phone doesn't work, and the jammers, the phones are down because
the average person in the military. And I was one of these people until I went to a briefing. It was a couple years before I got out, and they kind of talked about GPS jamming. And I won't go deep, obviously, but the takeaway was, I did not realize how much stuff just in a normal, what we call an MTOE. I don't know what it's called, the Air Force or Navy or whatever, but basically what a unit has to, equipment wise, how much of that is affected by GPS, things that you wouldn't even imagine. Right. And so we're getting into that, right? Like, all this EW stuff, the drone stuff, there's going to be huge impacts to how people operate. And I don't think the average person really thinks about that or understands it. But you're right. Well, you start radiating all out through the base. There's going to be second and third order effects.
Well, it's not just military either. I mean,
right.
We've talked about the tragedy at DCA. There's not a single aircraft at DCA that's in a hardened shelter. A non-state actor or nefarious actors or someone that wants to do harm now has a blueprint to go, I just have to drive this truck, a cargo container. I mean, you're right by the water there, something with a boat, with containers, pop off, handful of drones.
And if we've learned anything from the movie True Lies, it's going to come in through Key West. There's
Always
no
do that.
borders. There's
well,
no
Harrier.
checkpoints.
We don't
know
have the
this.
Harrier. That's probably why Fat Amy had the VTOL version, because we knew that
knew.
would possibly happen, and we needed to be
right
sure.
up through the taint of
Yeah.
America, right? Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing.
Yeah, I don't know that. Casmo, I mean, I think you nailed it with what happens now with regards to the Ukraine, Russia peace talks. If there is any peace, I don't know, man. That's a very commendable tactic and offensive attack that they did, as far as just from a tactical standpoint. But man, I don't know if that's the best thing for ending trying to end a war.
Guarantee you, there's some nerds in the Pentagon having a pizza party right now trying to figure this out.
Oh, dude. I think there's a lot of little small groups.
The good kind of pizza party where you earned it.
No,
this
right.
is they can't go home.
This is a big reward.
There's a lot of small groups right now, I'm sure, over there that are having
think tanks are thinking harder than they've ever
Just
before.
staring.
Yeah. There's no more
100%.
fingernails.
Well, Gonky, we need to start our roofing business, because I think hardened shelters are us.
I don't, but the thing is, man, is as drone technology gets better, I mean, drones are going to get smaller and harder. It's just
they're going to have little hands open doors to the hangar, right? It's out of control.
I mean, one of there'll be micro drones one of these days. They'll just go right.
There's
through the
already
keyhole.
micro drones.
But I mean, even smaller,
even
microer than micro.
Even microer, bro.
Mini micro machines as drones.
They're gonna have the micro machine guy.
but I'm just saying,
hey, Department of Defense.
Dude, we are I mean, your analogy of Pearl Harbor is, it's that was the breaking point for aviation tactics and we're at that point now, and it's where it can go from here based on just thinking about what just happened. That is wild. And
dumb people don't understand, I guess, context or nuance as usual. And they're like, it's not 9/11 or Pearl Harbor because the Russians are bad. And it's like, dude, think of this tactically and strategically. 9/11 created the Patriot Act. 9/11 destroyed commercial aviation for, just
all intents and purposes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
9/11 was an unforeseen, well, depending on what book you read, but in general, it was something we hadn't thought of that happened. And then we tried to harden a bunch of other things, and that gave us the TSA, and then created the 20-year wars and all that stuff. Pearl Harbor, World War II already existed, and that was unheard. We never thought that they were going to go sink our boats in the harbor. And like you talked about, carrier aviation, the war in the Pacific, Germany then declares war. We, become very much a part of World War II. You know how it ends. This, I think, is the same thing, where it's a previously unthought of tactic, a previously unexpected, target, and they were caught unprepared, and this happened. Just like Mossad with the beepers. That's another great example more recently, where people are like, beepers? Really? We blew up a whole bunch of terrorists. That one's on a different level, but this is two countries at war, one of whom is nuclear capable, and it doesn't benefit anyone to keep dragging this out.
Yeah, I'm sad. It's amazing to see. But it's sad, like you just said, man. I don't want to see just more senseless killing.
No, and the numbers. I'll caveat too. All the numbers that we've talked about, 40, however many, it's all subject to change. The immediate reporting of all the effects are obviously unreliable initially. It could be whether it's 10, 45, they still did it. And the psychological effects are still going to be regardless.
That's the real win.
Right. That's
so
we can touch you in your,
unless you've killed all the bombers, so what? But the psychological impact, because as we've just talked about, all the churn that's going to come from this, because nobody's just like, oh, well, that was random. That'll probably never happen again. Just leave everything parked the way it is, right?
Like 2 hours ago, they just launched a bunch of other drones into Russia. Now they're just they're hammering it. They're going, okay, you know what? Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but when we talk about this Ukraine drone stuff, I mean, have you guys seen the videos of the drones chasing people
Mhm.
and blowing up like that.
one
Like
guy-
that, right?
You've seen the one with the
psychologically.
one guy where he's just sitting there and the
Yes.
drone. I mean,
It's like poking them and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, he's not. So it's not a violation of the Geneva Convention because he's not surrendered. He's not doing any of
technically.
Yeah, but it's a horrific video to watch because
Horrific,
it's this
yeah.
dude that's just there and
He's just done. He's just done.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
there
Where
was
they're
somebody
chasing the
that
dudes
posted,
around the car. Yeah.
there was somebody posted that video the Russians had propped up a dead guy like Weekend at Bernie style. So I don't know, dude, you hear so many
he was not
disgusting-
responsive, so it's
right.
possible.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Regardless, though, you're right. I mean, that's why I'm talking about pilots. We sleep at home. We don't sleep in barracks. We drive to work. I mean, I talked about this before. I think Elon was wrong when he says drone swarm's going to take out an F-35. Traditionally speaking, I don't see that. Airborne, but on
Right.
the ground, dude.
Right.
I mean, if you keep somebody from ever taking off,
Right.
that is a kill. That is
The lightning is a
effective.
terrible weapon on the ground.
Yeah.
It's
work very well.
basically it's defenseless. So,
It can't do the Hades bomb. It
No.
can't do any of the stuff that Doug Masters could do in an F-16.
0 stars on the ground. Yeah, it's no good.
You can't even take the little cigar-shaped box and make a stinger like
No,
you could.
take the thing looks like a coffee can, thing, the cigar box, put them together. Yeah. Can't do it.
You can't even do that. So
what disable the weight on wheel switch so you can use the gun and drop them?
it doesn't have a gun, Gonky.
No, the Air Force One does.
The Navy one doesn't.
That's true. What if you got the gun pod that day though? I don't know.
It's not armed yet. You have to get somebody to run out and arm it. All right. So anyway, let's see. Corvette World Rob says, I'm praying for peace. Too many lives lost already. Yeah, it's an unpopular opinion these days to want peace. So
Yeah.
good luck with that comment. Hammer B says, land-based CWIS system will probably get more funding. Maybe.
Maybe, man. I mean, that's
Maybe. You got to be able to detect them.
and you
Yeah,
got to be able to. How many bullets can you run through that thing?
Hey,
Yeah.
Can you see one of those parked outside wherever your base is for your National Guard unit or whatever, your reserve unit?
Yeah, and
Like, where are those
Casmo,
rounds going?
right. Where are they coming down at? I mean, as it's
Yeah.
spraying over the.
Into Home Depot
Yeah.
on the other
exactly.
side.
Walmart.
Just fixed your immigration
Yeah.
problem. Max says, also the numbers are in for damaged aircraft: 3 totaled, 2 T-95, 5 damaged but repairable, 6 totaled, Su-25 but not 30%.
But still, I mean, they
Prove
they can get out
source or not, like
Yeah,
would
right.
prove it. Like, I mean, it's too early to anybody to know that. How does he
Yeah.
know that? I don't know.
Well, Brian says wall of flak, belt fed, auto, trench sweeper, as was the style in 1945. Other terms were blocked. Yeah, until you hit an innocent bystander
Oh,
just
yeah.
trying to get some lumber in the parking lot.
Some lumber.
Yeah,
Just
those
trying
rounds
do
got to
some
come
home
back down.
improvements.
Got these
Steven
pots.
says need to heavily invest in high energy lasers in the long term for defense. That's to cover our aircraft in short term. Israel's doing that. Israel, they were talking about a high energy laser for some of their stuff, and they were in their preparations for a case this war with Iran thing happens. Because why not? What's one more war, right? Let's just one more. That's how the aliens visit us, dude. I wrote this in a book. Just in case you're wondering. 3-front war. Max says U.S. doesn't really have to worry about China or Russia using this tactic. Everyone now has to worry about commercial military aviation. Any randoms that's upset is willing to do it. Let me throw this out there for you. China has said 2026 to 2028 they will take back Taiwan. China decides that they don't want the U.S. to intervene. China then uses the drones at places like Langley, at Hill, and places that would, and they preemptively strike those aircraft to keep them from defending the Taiwan Strait. You don't think that's a realistic option? If we're saying, if we say, hey, we're going to defend Taiwan, and they're going to go, okay, well, no, you're not. I mean, anything is possible.
Right. Exactly. That's just it. Anything is possible.
Yeah. That would be a direct correlation to Pearl Harbor, right? Because then we sank your ships in the harbor. And dude, what about that? I mean, what happens when a shipping container, a cargo ship full of shipping containers drives right by a carrier?
Dude, yeah. I mean, heck, there was always a freighter parked, like 2 miles from New Orleans, right? When we were flying out of there. I mean, that's the scariest part about it, man, is if you can launch them from trucks like 3,000 kilometers inland Russia, I mean, you can launch them from all kinds of different stuff.
Boats.
Boats, plane. I mean, literally planes, trains, and automobiles, man, and everything in between, I mean, scary.
Islamic Steak says, have you guys seen the video of the Croatian Black Hawk that clipped some trees and almost ended up in the water?
Yes.
Oh, of course. I've seen the one where the Black Hawk dips its stinger in the water as it's trying to drop some dudes
is
off.
it not the same one? Oh, I thought that was the same one. No, I guess I haven't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Black Hawk pilots do that a lot.
Hit trees.
Well, they always stick their ass out when they land, and so
wasn't that an Apache video where the guy's like, "Think we could make it?" Yeah, no,
yeah, it was
trees. Yeah,
but they didn't hit their tail, so just saying. I mean, we're talking about tails.
You're talking practice.
I remember an Apache came back when I was at JRTC as an observer, and he came back and they had tree branches sticking out of their tail, the stabilator, and but we were like, good on you, dude, because that means you were flying low and doing good shit. Like, guys are afraid to fly that low. We're like, you're gonna have to fly that low when we fight China. Guys are afraid to do that. So we wrote him a letter like, hey, don't hang this dude out to dry, because they were doing the Lord's work out there.
Well, that's where Gonky's idea of the wall of drones, like if you just hang them out at 200 feet where you think there's a bunch of helicopters.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, there's hundreds of different tactics that you could use, and I mean, different.
You don't even need drones. Insurgents used to try that with kites in Missoula.
All you need is wires.
They'd fly kites like 1,000 feet in the air. Who flies a kite at 1,000 feet? I flew right by one. Went under. I swear to God, I went under the rotor desk next to the cockpit, and they would put wire in it. Like it would be like line and then wire, because they wanted to get round up. So we would tell the guys on the ground, if you ever saw anybody flying a kite, just cut it loose. Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That was 2006.
What does that mean? Cut it loose?
Like if you see somebody holding the kite, just cut it. Like kite's just gonna fly away. It's not gonna.
You punch them first and then cut it? Like, how do you?
I don't
wrestle them?
I don't tell them how to skin the cat. All right.
Who wants to know? Is that code? Is that code for?
Yeah. Like video. Pew pew. Like what's the?
I'm a dreamer, not a schemer. I don't know how they do it.
Give me how the bologna's made on that one.
Little kid, give me your kite. Poor little kid.
Give me your kite.
Regarding the drones, Tim asks, do y'all know about Forward Observations Group? Solid dude supporting on the drone front.
Never heard
of it. No. Should we? Do you know them? We'll talk to them. Yeah. We'll talk to them.
I've never heard of them.
Tell me we have a defense.
Gundam Blade says, too bad the drones are not mini airwolves. Airwolves?
Airwolves.
But then they would be undefeatable. Up to 100,000 feet, Mach 2.
And hopefully they're ours.
Yeah. Max says, China hasn't attacked anyone in 5,000 years. They will just wait it out. Well, who needs a military then?
Well, never mind. What are we talking about? Let's talk about something fun like magic.
Yeah. Lightning bolt. Wicked Spider Black says, hi, everybody, to another Monday and week.
It is another Monday. Yeah.
And Laura says, season 1 lasted 57 weeks. Seasons 2 and 3 were curtailed, Luna striking. Season 4 was too shocking to air. Now we're 20 episodes into season 5. What will happen next?
I was thinking about this today when I was doing
thinking, is this the finale of season 5? Because we have to stop
yesterday
at season 6, episode 9. That is our series finale.
I thought it was season 69, episode 69.
No, we're never going to make it that
Jesus.
far.
Yeah.
You guys will be 1,000.
It's season 6, episode 9, dude. That's as far as we go.
All right. Well, all right. Well, then
we're
wrapping this thing up.
We just stop counting after that, or it just becomes the same.
No, season 6, episode 9, part 2, part 3.
Yeah, the 8A, 8B.
To be continued.
8C.
Point 1, 69.1.
I love
point
it.
2. Parker Lozier says, thank you for the advice and wisdom over the years, gents. I picked up for pilot training. Or I got
Nice.
picked up for pilot training. I'm thinking about putting Laughlin #1. Any of you guys going to see Dos Gringos in Denver on Saturday? We don't travel.
Yeah.
But
We're
if you
airline pilots.
did-
We don't
Wow.
travel.
Yeah. Not for funsies.
Not for fun.
That's
Gonky
awesome.
can't
though.
afford it.
Yeah. No, I'm
You're
stuck,
right, as
man.
we discussed prior.
Yeah, I gotta wait till next payday before I move the RV. So
Yeah, so he's saving up to make it to
I'm
work. So.
yeah, this is a restaurant after hours I'm in. They let me use the free internet. I bought a cheap.
He has to wash the dishes.
I gotta wash the dishes after this show.
Yeah, pick up
Oh,
a shift.
Yeah,
You close down the restaurant at 8:00 at night.
small town, bro. Not a lot going on here.
You're losing some money here, Gonky.
Yeah. Hey Parker, congrats though. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Dude. Yeah,
don't
put
know if
Laughlin,
I-
dude.
I don't know about
Any-
Laughlin.
Any of the bases are good. Just go.
Just go and fly and have fun.
Yeah.
Just don't fly into Mexico.
That would be bad.
No,
I mean,
please.
that's the risk there.
Yeah. So Enid's probably your safe bet, other than the tornadoes.
Needed America and the ice, dude. I
the ice,
busted
you're
my
right.
ass
You're
more
right.
at that place
Yep.
walking to the squadron
It gets cold.
every day.
Cold.
Heat Seeker says, scenario, there's an intense firefight going on the ground. You're out of ordnance, but the guy on the radio asks if there's anything you can do to scare or distract the bad guys. What do you do? Go force.
Yeah, exactly. Or I mean, you
Boom.
could, dude, if you had the if you were flying with the drop tanks that they had in behind enemy lines, you could drop those bad boys on them.
That's fact.
Yeah. So
Flares.
We pop our blades.
yeah, the Wizzo's probably got
Right.
what 8 rounds in his clip. You could punch him out, put him on the ground, start shooting. I don't know.
The Wizzo is so universal.
He's so
a
useful.
flare.
He's
He's
so
your last
useful.
round. He's
We got
your
6 rounds
secret-
coming to you.
Yeah. Hold on, danger close. I need the ground commander's initial so I can send in this Wizzo.
Target marked with Wizzo.
Yeah. In addition to flight training, he gets extensive ground combat training.
That's why it's
It's
bad
just-
to piss them off because they're all badasses.
Yeah. Well, the movie, dude. I mean, behind enemy lines proved it.
Pilot died in that movie. That movie
Right.
had to be written by Wizzo.
Dude, 100%.
I mean, like that whole thing about we
Stackhouse
care if
shot
you're putting in your letter. You're not putting in your letter. Where are you going to go? You don't have any job opportunities. You can't go to the airlines. You're staying forever.
I love Wizzos, man. Just like making it's
He
just
does
fun
that
to make
'cause he
fun
knows
of
they're
them.
badasses. Yeah, he's like, hey, I don't want to really piss off a Wizzo. I'd rather have the extra gas, but that's just me. Tim says Fog is a couple
Yeah.
of former SF dudes helping Ukraine with drone stuff. Extra donation for Luna Treat Fund. Ah, look at the puppy. Is that a collie?
It's Lassie.
Yeah,
100%.
Most kids don't know who Lassie is anymore. Gonky.
Really?
Yeah. Rob says, "Why is Gonky living in IKEA?" Because his wife makes him.
I'm not allowed to have
She won't let
Starlink.
him have Starlink, so he's got to live in the
Yeah.
IKEA
Yeah, most places, if you buy something off them, they let you use the free Wi-Fi. See what the big deal is.
meatballs, dude.
I paid for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Moving on. New breaking news. There was a Navy helicopter crash in Gonky's neck of the woods. Gonky.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot out yet, but in Santa Rosa County, near Whiting Field, they do primary and advanced helicopter training there. I guess they had maybe Casmo and Mover. I don't know a lot about helicopter flying. That's Whiting Field. But they said something about a hard landing, so maybe some sort of bounce or rollover. Good news is instructor and student are okay. So I don't know. Helicopter probably didn't do so well, but yeah. Casmo, what do you
Maybe Casmo. What do you think?
hard landing is what caused it? And
Look, I've seen things laying on their side, and they're like, "Oh, it was a hard landing." So who knows?
really? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 so-
What are they flying, Gonky? Or is it still the Jet Ranger, or did they move on to the Leonardo?
It's mostly Leonardo. I'm not in Florida right now, but occasionally I do see the old TH-57, and I think they said that their last class is of advanced with the 57 is wrapping up now. So I imagine, dude, here probably in the next month, the Bell helicopters will be gone.
So I
But
wonder if that was a Bell or
I don't know.
is
Yeah.
Casmo, is that the same helicopter as the 58? Like, are they pretty much the same? The 57 and the what you flew? Not the 58D, but the 58A and the
Right. Well, the Bell 206 was the TH-67, which I think the Navy called the 57, or it was the same thing. It was just painted different.
Mhm.
So, and then the 206, the 58 is kind of like a 206, like a 407.
Wow. Yeah, the Air Force had a mishap. I was going to cover it and I forgot about it. So now it reminds me. About a year ago, because the AIB's just been released, where they had a dynamic rollover. And, it was just they were practicing, obviously not like this. This is back at the pad, but, they got too much of a slope, rolled the helicopter.
Well, this happened at the outlying field, and just based
wow.
on the limited pictures there. I mean, there's an outlying field kind of near where I live, and there's another one like south I-10. I think they use, and it is. I mean, it's grassy. It's relatively.
Do they do auto rotations? Full down autos?
They come in there pretty hot. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch them practice, but I think they do all kinds of hover training, regular.
The
landings.
Army has stopped doing full down autos.
Well, I think that's changing because now they're flying like old ass Robinsons or something.
R66s, yeah. The next thing
they just started. So I imagine the whole reason is to be able to do full autos, because that was the problem with the LUH. One of the many problems of picking that aircraft is you couldn't do full autos. So
maybe they were doing like a full down auto if that's the outline field. Who knows?
Like you couldn't do Casmo. You couldn't do the auto. You couldn't practice it.
They wouldn't do them to the ground.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't want to break it. So you terminated a hover.
Gotcha.
Which, whatever. But yeah, all the old timers didn't like that. Oh, this isn't good pilot training. It's like, that's, of all the things to worry about, that's not the thing to worry about. But what do I know?
It's got 2 engines.
What?
Right. Well, the problem, don't even get me started. Yeah, it's just stupid. I hate people.
Yeah. All right. Noted. Add that to the list.
Just put it. You've made the list.
Gonky, what is this? U.S. allies looking at Chinese jets.
Doug, do you have the article? Yeah. So the U.S. ally is Egypt. So it's funny. I mean, I don't know. Consider your source. I mean, Newsweek's pretty good, but apparently Egypt is looking at the J35 the J35, which is
modeled after the American F-35. I don't know.
The Super F-35 has 2 engines, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if they would agree with that, but go on.
Yeah. No, they're just apparently Egypt's looking at it because their attempts to modernize F-16s not going so hot. So there's a model of it, right? So there, some of their Egyptian generals were taking a look at it, and behind them there's a J-10 as well. So I mean, we've seen like they had a model of the J-10 at Lima for Malaysia. So it looks like China's definitely doing a push here to export some of their higher end fighters, but with in the article here, the question is, is China, I mean, the J-35 is pretty new, right? Are they going to allow an airplane like that to be exported?
Well, they're pushing it.
They are, but I mean, I always like to ask the questions like, what model, what version are you going to get? The export version might be a lot different than, probably will be a lot different than the one that the, Chinese military uses. And I think Egypt is also worried about kind of the same problem, is how cooperative is China going to be with regards to maintaining, upgrading, and flying these airplanes, running into the same issue that they're running now with the F-16, which is older. So, I don't know, man. There's several countries out there, I mean, including, Malaysia, that had a blend of Russian, US weaponry. I don't think it's a bad idea, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I always ask myself, does this Russian stuff actually work?
Well, I think it shows the new reality here, where it used to be countries would either have American or Russian equipment, depending on how they aligned. And now it's, I say American, Western equipment or Russian equipment. Now countries, like they were in the article, they talk about the Rafale, they decided to purchase some of those. And so now you're talking the J-35 as kind of a 5th gen bridge. Turkey is doing their own indigenous stuff, and they're probably going to get start looking at exporting if they can. I think it's opening up the aperture as far as what manufacturers and China is trying to position themselves as an arms manufacturer. They look how much they've accelerated from a country that was one of the, hey, we're buying Russian equipment, to, we're producing our own stuff at a massive rate. I mean, we're flying. We're going to talk about the J-36 and J-50 here in a little bit, and I think that they are accelerating. Now, do they have the capacity to produce it like you talked about in a timely manner and give them the equipment they want? I don't know. I don't know what the export version is going to look like.
Well, another thing I'll say is, having been in an Air Force that uses both Western and Russian weaponry, especially with fighter jets, man, the engines are really important. And when Boeing is trying to sell Super Hornet, they would literally take like 1 or 2 from the rag, put gas in it, fly it to wherever in the world, do the show, and fly it back. There's very little support. But if you see a Russian jet, there's a couple spare engines. I mean, there's a lot. Reliability of Western stuff, from what I've seen, is superior. And I mean, I know you Russian fanboys are going to hate that and just poop all over me. That's fine. But I mean, that's the reality of what I've seen. And I'm sure that countries like Egypt, Malaysia, whoever's looking at these are thinking about that too. Cause you can have, the Russians are capable of building tactical airplanes that work. Their philosophy is different sometimes, but the maintenance, right? You got to keep the airplane going.
But this isn't Russia. This is China. And
China, Russia. I mean,
well, but the point is, Russia cannot. They are, as we just talked about, they're entrenched in a war in which their production largely is going towards their own efforts. So,
yeah, but they've gotten a lot of their
stepping aside, and now China is filling that void.
They've gotten a lot of their technology though from Russia.
A void of half-assery, though. Like somebody just said in the chat, oh, they make better stuff than Russia. Oh, okay. So, like, who cares? Like, that's crap. Well, they make slightly better crap. Like, at the end of the day, they got a long way to go because they're still at a stage where they have to steal everything to even figure out how the shit works. And then it's arguable, does it work, right? Like, let's go back in time, right? Let's go into the time machine, since I'm not exciting enough for chat, by the way. Let's go back in the time machine here. 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Oh, yeah, I'm not exciting. So 5 years ago, everybody was like, oh, Russian, ooh, they're a big fucking scary monster. Look at them now. They're clowns. They've been clowns. They've been showing us them in clowns for years in their 3-day operation. So I don't know. I just don't get excited about Chinese stuff because it's probably crap too. And they're going to hide it until the last minute when they have to use it. And they're like, oh, everyone's going to say, oh, this isn't very good.
The media machine in full swing, the India versus Pakistan thing, which we're not getting a lot of reliable information, but India did come out and say they lost aircraft. So, more than one got shot down by the Pakistanis, which means perhaps a Rafale, perhaps, another aircraft, a Su-30 or whatever, but shot down by J-10s, PL-15s, some of that was involving Chinese tech, which, stock market, as soon as they heard that, the news of the global markets, Dassault's stocks went down, orders went up in China. So people are paying attention to the effectiveness in actual combat operations. And you're right. Nobody's knocking down Russia's door right now. And a lot of people are knocking down China's door.
I think they're going to, because there's people that, like, at the end of the day, there's 3 stores, right? There's our store, there's Russia, and there's China. Like, those are the places where you're going to buy stuff, and then maybe a little bit from Europe. But Russia, right, they've been on, all their stuff is catching fire. Nobody wants to buy their stuff. Well, if they're not friends to us, where else are they going to go? They're going to go to China. Yep. And as you said, that's kind of like a flash in the pan. We don't know the background of all the stuff that happened, but as we've talked about in this show many times before, like, training at the end of the day makes it. It's not the aircraft. It's the person guiding
training
it.
And tactics.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and as you said, like, the tactics there, it could have been, I don't know nothing about those engagements, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
The real power behind China, in my opinion, is they can build these J-35s and export them, but they are definitely a very industrial country, and I wonder about who can build them faster, right? I mean,
the Chinese for
quantity
sure.
is a quality all its own, right? I mean, that's a very communist, old school Soviet way
Right.
of looking at things. Just make a shit ton of it, and then you'll win.
Exactly. Yeah, even if it's half as good, if we make freaking 10 times as many as they have, it'll
right.
Run 'em out
You're
of
outproducing my missile.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Interesting
That's a good article,
times.
Gonky. Yeah, good job.
Hmm.
Let's go to the chat real quick. Skunder says, have you checked out season 2 of The Rehearsal? Probably way outside your wheelhouse, but this season focused on issues with commercial aviation. I don't know what that
I haven't.
I've never heard of The Rehearsal. What
I
is
have watched Andor though. Does that count?
that? You have
Andor.
Disney Plus?
Yeah. I don't want to brag, but
Can't
no, we
afford it
haven't
around
seen
here.
it.
We're
I can't.
You guys can't stream that.
I
we
can't.
can't. We don't have that kind of
Dial up.
cash.
I've canceled all subscriptions.
Yeah.
Casmo.
Right. Well,
Sorry, I don't know what a
I'm familiar
rehearsal
with your
is.
paycheck. I understand.
Yes, I know.
If you need a
Yeah,
referral, just let me know. I'll get you in the door, get you in the room.
The Islamic Stake says, can't decide if the F-16 with the spine and conformal fuel tanks looks good. Yes. Does she have curves in all the right places, or am I 4 shops deep talking myself into it? Yeah,
It's good
I like
looking.
it. I think it's good looking.
Yeah, it is good looking.
Tim says, clip Gonky Y. Oh, yeah, because you said clip instead of magazine. I heard it too.
Oh
Maybe,
God!
maybe.
Yeah, were you even in the military,
Sorry.
Why?
loser?
Yeah, what are you, full M1 Grand?
He's
Yeah.
he's trolling for engagement.
That's what it was.
Success. You can thank me for that.
He's trying to
comment
get, that's
there,
how he
boy.
got that super chat, dude. He's like, if I say clip Gonky, keep going. Just keep going, dude. Just
I'll just be myself.
keep on, keep it on.
Well, that's
Corvette World Rob says China's military equipment is untested. The U.S. is. I mean, maybe. I mean, yeah. Heat Seeker says Casmo is cool and exciting. Tomcats.
I like to think so.
Apaches. Tell us a fun story about Kiowa or Apache reliability and maintenance. That doesn't sound like a fun story.
Wow.
To go on.
There it was, broken.
Yeah.
Listen,
Well, there was this one time I had to red ball to the spare.
well, do you really want me to tell this story?
Yeah, dude, he paid $5.
All right, I'll tell you a
$5
quick
is
story.
$5.
So when I went to, well, I don't see any of it. So when I
Neither
was
do we,
in
but
flight
go on.
school and I picked Kiowas, I remember going out to the flight line one day and we were doing like hot cockpits, which sounds super awesome. And we, sit in the cockpit and the instructor would help us push buttons and learn stuff and things. And so he's helping the other guy and I'm sitting there and I'm kind of bored and I'm daydreaming. And there's an Apache parked right across from me. And this crew walks out to the Apache and I'm thinking, man, I should have went Apaches. Look at that thing. That's cool. I want to fly that. I should have went that. These guys get in, they get ready to crank up. And then the crew chief, like as they're cranking up, is like waving his hands at him and stuff. And there's like fuel just like pouring out of the bottom of the Apache. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Give him the signal. And I'm like, oh. Meanwhile, this other crew next to us in a Kiowa, they show up, they pre-flight. The Apache gets ready to crank again. They get the signal again. Stuff is going wrong. The Kiowa next to me cranks up. They taxi out. They take off. And I'm like, no, I made the right choice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
T-38s versus F-22s. Same old story every time.
Yeah.
Right.
We're always waiting for them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She don't look as cool, but we're going flying.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll fly because we don't have anything.
Uh.
There's nothing to break on that thing. 2 inches.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. If
That's
it's
it.
making noise, you're going flying.
Yeah.
That's it. I like
Yeah.
it.
And you only need one of the engines to come home. Just have to have 2 to take off.
That's true.
Bones says, Gonky, your changing backdrops never cease to amaze me. Amaze.
Well,
Sorry.
It's a green screen.
Yeah.
There's only so many places. in
Dude,
this town I
Gonky, you
can
should
eat,
screenshot that and use it forever.
So. Really?
As if Gonky understands how green screens work.
Yeah. Like you literally want to just green back here?
Green
weird.
screen? Why
I get
green?
some paint. I get some paint.
This is what you guys wanted, right?
Manjot Singe says, day 69 of asking about the Just Dude shirt.
Yeah, I know.
That's Casmo merch.
That is just
Those
dude.
dudes. I'll never live that one down.
Elias says frontal photos were taken of the J36 on approach. That center
Yeah, I
intake is
saw
definitely
that.
not something to punch out in the front of. See, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. See, John's here. I'm laughing so hard. Mover said he paid $5. Dance monkey.
Pull the handle, get your banana.
That's right, dude. Look, times are tough here on the top side of this channel.
Yeah.
The bottom side, he's rolling in it. That's why he's got
Oh,
superior
whatever.
lighting and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
The rest of
thank
us.
you,
Okay.
Amazon Prime.
All right, Casmo, I'm going to need you to control yourself on this next one. The president has pulled Jared Isaacman's nomination to lead NASA.
Go mover.
Because you already know what I'm going to say.
Exactly. So President Trump has pulled. So we had Jared Isaacman on the show. We thought he's a great guy. Then it was
Great mind.
announced that as a result of our interview, he was selected for the NASA
Yes.
director role, and then got through confirmation hearings fairly well. Made some very intelligent answers. But then Trump said, you know what? Never mind. And everybody else said NASA is effed. And so the Senate Commerce Committee had approved his nomination 19-9 a whole month ago. But it turns out the waters got a little murky because somebody dug into his background and he gave some political donations to Democrats, and that's not loyal to the current thing. Are you going to be okay, Casmo? Trust me. We'll get through this. We'll get through this. I promise. And
So
then
he was too qualified.
And then basically they pulled out from that. And then somebody in the leader in the agency said NASA is effed. Budget request is just going to be a going out of business mode without Jared there. And he actually, I follow him on the Twitter, and he made a pretty neutral statement, basically just saying, hey, thanks for the opportunity. Space is awesome. Can't wait to do some more stuff. Because he said he's going to space anyway when he was with us about the different, I think 3 flights, was it, Gonky? You remember? Was it 3 flights that he had signed up for?
He had a plan.
Yeah. So I guess it didn't matter, but I think this is an L. This is not good.
Yeah, dude, you know, I mean, he is, dude, he thinks about things like differently. Like he's a visionary. He's a,
There's no place for him then.
I mean, like, I mean, it goes back to like we were talking about that ad, you know, last week. It's like my dream is we put like the smartest, brightest people in the positions they need to be in, and I'm sad that he's not going to be, you know, the director, but that's just what I think, man. I mean, I don't know.
We interviewed him. He's super intelligent, smarter than both of us on the top here.
Oh, yeah.
To the point that his answers were very direct, which meant that when he was in front of the Senate committee, I mean, he talked about this. He's like, we're going to Mars. You know, we're going to do the moon. We're going to get that back on track. We're going to go to Mars. NASA is going to be the NASA of old. We're going to do the things that we need to do, take the risks that we need to take, and be the agency that we need to be, much like the glory days, you know, prior to the Challenger, I guess, was probably where the downfall started. And I was excited about NASA. I was excited about what he brought to the table. You know, I think the sign of a good dream team is where you take people from various backgrounds and ideas, and not necessarily people, yes men, people that, yeah, okay, a little bit of loyalty overall, but people that'll tell you you're wrong and then fight for the mission is what you want. You don't want a bunch of yes men.
He's the guy. He's the guy you want, dude. Like,
you want the guy that's going to be like, hey, boss.
Yeah.
I love your idea, but guess what? This is better. And here's why. To keep, because like if I'm in charge, I want people that are going to tell me, hey, dude, don't do that. You're going to end up like ruining NASA. Right. That's what I want. I want people that will say the truth and people that will stand by principle. And I thought Jared was that man to do that job. He had been to space. He has seen the commercial side. He knew how to integrate the commercial side of things.
Dude, he's a young guy with new ideas, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you know, he's got his own MiG-29. He's doing the tornado that he's trying to like he's flown aerobatic demos and stuff, like all aspects of aviation. The guy lives in, yeah, he didn't have the traditional upbringing, like, he wasn't like the fighter pilot, test pilot, astronaut, and all that stuff. But dude, I think his business mind would not only be good for the agency, but just be good for innovation. And especially with his relationship with Elon and SpaceX, like, I thought that was like, dude, pull together, win together. We're establishing something great. And it's incredibly disappointing because I don't know that you're going to find somebody as good.
I wonder, you think we're getting the full story though, dude, honestly?
Oh, no, of course not. I mean, dude, there was something. I mean, Elon bowed out of Doge.
But that was by design. He knew that. He was the temporary.
I don't know about the timing, though. The timing, like, it was by design, but maybe not in 6 months.
I think that's how long they can be like a temporary whatever employee, whatever they call it.
It hasn't even been 6 months.
Regardless, like, I wonder if we're getting the full story. That's all.
You're probably getting enough of it to know that he apparently was qualified and didn't bend the knee. So.
Oh no, he's qualified, 100%.
Yeah, but he didn't. He's not kissing the right ass.
I don't
let's just call it what it is. That's what's happening. I mean, how much more story do you need? We see it on everything else. You see it everything else. He's not a Fox News reporter, so therefore he's not qualified. Let's just call it what it is.
But he's been on all the like people.
Yeah,
like the other side didn't want him because they're like, oh, well, he's been like, dude, he was the most centered guy.
Yeah,
I think you could have in that position, like apolitical. Like, he was just a dude that loved space.
Yeah,
and
I get
Gonky
it.
pissed him off because he said, I don't love space.
I don't.
You don't love space?
No, dude.
We hate space.
Hell no.
Why do you hate space? What has space ever done to you?
We have the space guy on, right? And the guy's like, hey, Mover Gonky, would you guys want to be astronauts for us?
Oh, no. He didn't.
We don't want to go to space. We hate space.
He did not.
I mean, I don't want to go there, but I like it.
He might have been about to go there, Gonky. You just didn't give him a chance before you're like, space is dumb, nerd.
I'm pumped. I didn't say nerd, dude. He's a genius.
I never watched Space Wars.
Yeah. I don't like all that stuff. Your Star Trek and
aliens, and your blue women and stuff.
Yeah,
blue women.
I like my women.
Is that Avatar? I don't know, dude.
I'm proud of you for knowing that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
he's got a wife.
Might have seen it.
He's got a wife.
She won't let him have Star. That's probably what it was. If you'd have bought the damn Starlink, Elon would have said, you know what? We forgive Gonky. But instead.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, the alternative, some retired Air Force general. I know this guy is like, there's nobody else in my mind that could be as qualified.
I think the alternate is more of a different type. He's not like the innovative type. He's not friendly to NASA. So
probably not, based on the article.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, it's going to be a party.
Doug, you got any inputs on this one? You like space?
I do like space. I'm with Gonky. Hire the qualified people. I'm also with you, Mover. If somebody knows enough to tell me no, I listen.
Make them tell you no.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. But
there are people in the world that are smarter than us.
Yeah,
he might be one of them.
I just see it. He definitely is one of them. I see it as a mistake anytime you start listening to people that are like questioning loyalties and stuff, because it's like, dude, when you start getting into that paranoia and insulation, you lose perspective. And when you lose perspective, you get into a situation where you might lose the most qualified candidate you've had in many years, and you have an agency that's already struggling. I mean, dude, look at their failures. I mean, they stranded 2 people in space for
NASA.
Yeah.
They haven't had a win, and
they needed this. They needed this very, I mean, I don't know. They needed better leadership than they got. And I don't know what's next. I don't.
Well, nobody wants NASA to win on that side. Okay. They want privatization of everything. That's the goal. So why would you want NASA to win? NASA's not private.
Or we're paying for it. We might as well get
That's
our
the
money's
goal.
worth.
Well, that's I mean, I get you, but what's the percent of the budget that goes to NASA? I mean, USAID had less than 1% of the budget. And look what we did to that. So I mean,
fight the asteroids without them.
deep sea
Dro-
miners,
drones, dude.
deep sea miners, and SpaceX.
We're gonna use drones.
Space
Drones
Special-
delivered by space truckers.
Special. That's right. Space truckers and drones. They won't even know. They won't even know.
No, they'll never see it coming. The asteroid will not know.
That's why we're doing drill baby drill, so we have more people to fight the asteroid. I get it now.
Right, and Space Force, as was brought up in chat, Space Force, which has their own special forces, apparently.
Do they really?
I don't know what they do.
I have a Space Force shirt, but I actually don't know what they do. And I'm at this point, I'm too afraid to
Force the
ask.
space.
Right, it's after you talk to someone for a really long time, you're like, I don't want to ask their name.
I don't know what
awkward
you
now.
do.
It's-
Yeah. Like, oh, space, probably something cool. Actually, I did ACSC, the nerd college for people that want to get promoted and not retire.
Here we go.
And there were some Space Force people in there, and they would explain stuff, in our little scenarios. And I was like, oh, I learned something today.
Really?
I retained none of it. So if you ask me what they do, I still don't know. But in the moment I was reading it, I'm like, hello, John, that was quite the comment you made. I agree with you and everything you said. So I get credit for commenting, but still have no idea what Space Force does.
Oh, John Diaz, whatever, dude. Anyway, let's move on to the next subject.
Are you arguing with the comments?
Yes, yeah, just
Casmo, look, dude.
I hate when I
look,
see dumb people say stupid
Listen,
things. I just can't help it.
don't be like Mover. Don't read the comments. I don't read the comments, man.
We only read the ones with
Stickers.
money.
No.
Plexi says, Casmo, you're casually dropping bombs and I'm here for it. See,
Plexi.
that
You're
was
welcome.
nice. That
You're
was
welcome.
nice.
I'm 2 gin and tonics in, so that's where we get.
Oh boy.
Okay. Skunder says rehearsal is comedy docu show where people go through insane lengths to rehearse scenarios. They built an entire replica of Houston Intercontinental, used real FOs and captains. So it's like, whose line is it anyway?
Why would they do that? Rehearsal is comedy docu show where you show people go through
That
insane.
sounds like
lengths.
whose line is it anyway? It's an improv show.
It's like a think tank, right? I mean, they just play out
Think tank.
scenarios, right? As
Rehearse.
Why would you
Oh.
build an entire replica of? Cool.
Is that the one?
Sounds great.
Well, that's the one with the train underneath the ground. And
is it?
you know what? I need that replica for that hotel because I've gotten lost in that one for a few times. It's like an atrium. It's got like arteries and stuff. I got lost, dude. I just couldn't find my room. Corvette World Rob says, "What's wrong with blue women, Gonky?"
I didn't say there's anything wrong.
From
I,
the
I
small
literally
planet
said
of
I literally
whatever.
said Avatar question mark, right?
Enough.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm wrong. That's
If it's wrong, I don't want to be right.
You got to expand your horizons. There's some
You know,
types I didn't think I would like until I
Yeah.
did.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, well, I won't
got
say
little
what it
kids,
is.
man. I'm so busy, man.
Okay. Techno Faisal. Why don't all air forces do a brief like Pakistan? I will say that brief was pretty good.
It was pretty
Like
tight.
the one where he goes through and like explains. It was all PowerPoint. What was weird though is that people don't know what center of gravity is because it's a joint planning 5.0 term. And so like in the comment section of the video I did, they're
Right.
like, "Oh, center of gravity," and it's like, yeah, that's a real thing, dummy. Like if you're gonna make fun of anything in that presentation, that's probably not the one because that's actually a legit joint planning term.
I'm ignorant. That's all
Yeah.
it says. Like, I don't
I'm
know what
idiot.
I'm making fun of.
I'm making fun of these words, center of gravity.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
stupid. Hey, you're going to make them trip? Oh,
Wicked Spider Black says, "Did you see Stargate was Air Force, now Space Force?
Stargate was Air Force. Now.
SG-1?
What do you mean? Like it was?
Did
Is that
they
show
go
still
back
on?
and- Did they
Yeah,
memory
they
hole
retcon
it?
it?
Yeah.
Wasn't
Maybe
that
they
in the
colored in the.
90s?
Yeah.
Wasn't that in the 90s, right? Stargate.
Yeah, they use P90s.
Yeah, it was like a
Everybody's
long-ass
like,
time.
"Oh, a P90's cool."
Yeah, they did. Like they were playing Counter Strike.
Yeah, I'm not going to use a P90. I don't care what alien force is attacking. We're not using a P90.
Yeah, do you have another gun?
Yeah. Get away. Yeah. No bullpups for mover. All right. Back to the topics at hand. I think we've significantly detracted from our viewership. All right, Gonky. Sad news in
Yeah, man.
Korea. And boy, they just cannot catch a break.
No.
P3 crashed. And we have the video. Now, unfortunately, it claimed the lives of all on board. But dude, that thing just looks like it
Oh
like
shit!
a stall into the
Yeah.
like it's flying 1 minute and then
It just rolls on its back.
Rolls.
yeah, dude, like it's that looks like a VMC demo going wrong, you know, where it's your
Some
single
sort of-
or two
yeah.
engine gets
Yeah.
slow and then it rolls over into dude, this is horrific because obviously that's probably enough. Do we have an article associated with that, Doug?
I don't think so. I'll see what I can find.
Just has the details, but it just happened a couple days ago.
I think
Obviously
it's four crew members, I think.
was it
were on
former crew members? Yeah. And I mean, this is on the heels of everything else that's happening in Korean aviation. I mean, we've talked about they bombed the village.
Yeah, the F-16s.
Yeah, the civilian aircraft crashes. Jeju. They've had so much loss and tragedy. It's just
Yeah, there was nothing else.
Ohang killing 2. So it was only 2 on board.
I thought there was 4.
Oh, 2 of the 4. There's no way. Only 2 of the 4 passed away. Wow.
Jump at the last second. How do you survive that?
Yeah, no kidding, man.
That was a near vertical impact. Well,
I think they're leaving
yeah.
the language
2
open.
This was May. Your article's May 29th. Probably your article's. How old is it? Because yeah, there's no way. All 4 had to have
There's no
died.
way.
That was not a. Yeah, that's May 29th.
That's
so
day of reporting.
yeah. But yeah, so it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, loss of life. You know, our thoughts are with that. But I look at this and I'm like, how does that affect psychologically the flying public in South Korea? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
look at all the stuff they're going through. It's terrible, and I don't think obviously none of it's related. So you can't say, hey, there's a systemic problem there. It's just, I mean, they've just had a run of bad luck.
Yeah, the F-16 stuff, that was,
Human
error, human error. The Jeju stuff is still under investigation, but looking at that footage, man, I mean, some sort of rudder hard over, like you said, mover losing engine or engines on one side.
So speed, yeah.
A maneuver like that out of a big airplane at low altitude, I mean, that's very significant. Something went really, really wrong.
For sure. Casmo, you got anything on this one?
No, yeah, it's I would imagine some sort of mechanical failure because that seems like a pretty hard roll at that low of altitude.
Yeah, the P3. I don't know, dude, the P3 is an old airplane. I don't know how long they've been flying them. I'm pretty sure we've retired all of them in the Navy, and it's only NOAA that's using them now here in the States. But
is Customs still flying them?
Maybe NOAA and Customs.
I saw one actually. You say that in Puerto Rico like a year and a half ago, and I want to say it was Coast Guard.
Yeah. Maybe are the Coasties still flying them?
I can't remember. I feel like it was a Coast Guard one, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I mean, regardless, man. I don't know.
It's an old plane. Doesn't matter who's flying it. It's an old plane.
Old plane, and it's not just one engine uncontrollable. Because I remember they used to shut down engines, like when they're doing their maritime thing. They would. I've talked to like P3 pilots and people. Pork Chop was a backseater in the P3, and they would talk. I've flown up to get one. Like I've done an intercept on one, and the engine was shut down. They just fly around like that.
Yeah, but like you said about the T-38, right? You need 2 to take off, 1 to land. So I mean, they were still, max blast climbing. If you lose one, I don't know. I just
No, that's a good point. Yeah,
they'd only been airborne for 6 minutes too. I find it. I don't know if 6 minminutes into the flight they'd already be.
Oh, that long? Oh, look like they just took off.
Well, that is just taking off in a P3.
6 minutes, 400 feet.
3 to get to the end of the runway.
I mean, that's 6 minutes. They're only doing like 2 miles a minute. So, I mean, that's
clawing their way into the sky.
They're beating the air into submission on their way up. Anyway.
Yeah, sad.
Very sad. Very sad. Newman says Congress killed NASA with district-based appropriations. Happened long before Trump. Example: Space Launch System, historic boondoggle.
Calm down.
Okay.
Thanks, Newman.
Be calm.
Thank you. Keep calm and do whatever he was doing in his avatar. Lisa said,
your nipples.
Yes.
Listen,
I
listen.
wasn't-
I'm a guest here. I can say the quiet part out loud. You can't say it. I understand it's your show.
You sure
That's why you
can.
bring me
You
here.
sure
I'm the
can. You
voice.
sure can. I apologize.
I'm one of the people watching.
The Lisa says the rehearsal featured John Goglia, FAA YouTube flight directives on communication. Dude, you think we can be famous enough to be featured on stuff?
Probably not.
I'll tell you
Yes.
what I want to do.
I think so.
I want to be a voice actor and a character in the new Mass Effect game.
Okay.
Is there another Mass Effect game coming?
It's been promised for a long time, but Mass Effect 4 is on its way.
Oh,
No,
I really
the-
like Mass Effect.
I know, huh? Right? Not the Andromeda. I'm talking
I didn't even play Andromeda because I was like, no, I don't
No,
want
it's
to.
terrible.
No,
I played
don't
it one
ruin my
time
memories of
for
the
the
first three.
nostalgia. That's has not. They're not even related. They don't even,
Oh.
but Mass Effect 3, they're changing the ending, and they're making a Mass Effect 4. You haven't seen the trailers?
No, I haven't. I
Doug.
will after this.
No, we'll do it together.
Fired up.
We're gonna do it together.
One
Doug,
during the show.
yeah, we're gonna do it together. But
Hang
that's my. If anybody ever watches us and you work with BioWare, is that who it is?
Yeah,
I want to be a. I'll just be a random dude. I
I
don't care.
do
Just
too.
Yeah, just give me some.
Will come
some-
as a package deal.
I'll do it for free.
Donkey's like, what is a Mass Effect? Is that
I
in
don't know what you
space?
guys are
I don't
talking
like
about,
space. Is
Yeah,
this
that's the
science?
problem. He
What are you
doesn't like
talking about?
space. It is space.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it.
So
You're not
so-
involved. This is our thing.
Yeah.
Any place where I take off my
Here
helmet,
you
my
go,
head blows
Gonky.
up.
The Mover Casmo show now. Just stay in the corner.
There you go.
Stay there. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
Fixed it.
Finally.
Yeah. Do you find it?
I've got 30 seconds of something.
That's all she needs. Go. We have no audio, sir.
Worried about copyright strikes.
Blacklisted.
I don't care about copyright strikes for this one.
You can't. You'll be fine. Transformative, because we're talking about it.
Fair use.
Those are the rules.
What is that?
It's a
What am I
it's a
looking
space
at?
person. You wouldn't
Liara.
like it.
It's Liara. There's another one. So there you go. Mass Effect.
I don't understand.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway,
Just-
very exciting.
Just sit there and look pretty,
Okay.
or look.
Just look.
Just be.
look.
Just
Just
exist.
exist. Exists in the
Be,
space.
be slightly out of focus. Just do that. For
No,
us.
the jury is definitely in on that one, Casmo.
Angie says, just came from Korea, saw some A-10s in Osan. A baby was born on a Jeju flight from Jeju air flight from Philippines to Korea this weekend. Fortunately, the baby died. Jesus.
Oh, that sucks.
Like, I thought we were going to get some good news out of this.
Yeah.
Creighton says, Newman.
Newman.
Someone had to say it.
Someone. No, he said someone had to say it. It was a long W's. All
Rose
credit.
says, stopping by to say that the new Pixar movie Elio has Air Force representation and looking forward to it coming out later this month. Hope all is well with y'all. And as always, I enjoy the show. Well, thanks, Rose.
Thanks, Rose.
Air
What
Force
does that
representation.
mean?
There's a
Exactly.
couch in it and a hotel room. Represents the Air Force.
Is it a desk and a chair and a loading
Oh,
screen
boy.
on a
So many things.
Newman says bump for the profile pic. Look at it.
Look at it. Oh, I see it. Don't you worry. I see you. I see you.
Witness me, senpai.
Witness. That's right.
I love it.
What? Doug's got something else going. What are you cooking over here?
Let him cook.
I don't know what you were looking for. Was this it?
Anything with Mass Effect.
The next Mass Effect official teaser trailer.
That's good. This is it.
Audio.
We're in
Sorry, I
PowerPoint.
keep forgetting about that.
Mass Effect 2 is the best.
I like the intro one. It reminded me of Top Gun.
I like
Mass Effect 1 was okay.
But have you played the Legendary Edition? Because they fixed all the
No.
mechanics and you added
Oh,
all
really?
the DLC. Oh yeah, it's much.
The
better.
problem
You gotta
I
get
had with the
Legendary.
first one is the missions where you had to drive the stupid car around.
Oh, they fixed most of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll have to pick that up.
Yeah, Legendary gives you all three and gives you all the DLC. It's pristine.
Huh.
Gonky, this is space.
This is what it looks like.
This is what space looks
He's
like.
looking at him just so disinterested. He's like, Jesus.
Look at that spaceship.
Space. That's a ship that's in space. It's like the
That looks-
Navy.
There, that looks cold. See it.
It's cold
I
in
don't
space.
I don't like cold.
It's cold on Hoth. You even know
That's why I
Hoth?
live in
You even
Florida.
know?
Look at this. Look.
It snows in Florida.
Look,
You know.
Casmo, look.
Oh,
look
look at that. In 7.
Look.
We know what that
Look.
means.
Yeah. Look who that is.
I don't know what that
It's
means.
a blue
I see
girl.
it.
It's a blue girl. I did the blue girl in my Mass Effect playthrough.
All blue on the inside.
Wow.
See?
I don't know.
See? So BioWare, if you need a
Mass
couple
Effect is good.
actors,
Now I want to play
characters.
Mass Effect. God, yeah.
Yeah.
I was almost getting ready to restart Assassin's Creed, but now I'm like, Mass Effect.
Hey, you
Feeling
can come
pretty
play.
good.
We've been playing Breakpoint. You can play Breakpoint with us.
What's Breakpoint? I don't know that.
Ghost Recon. It's got John Bernthal as the bad guy.
Oh. He plays a
does
good
a-
bad guy.
He does. He really does. It's very scary. We learned the hard way that we were not leveled up enough to face him the first time we tried. We died. Right, Douglas?
Repeatedly. We're not smart enough to only die once.
Yeah. No, it took us a few tries. Heatseeker says it's got blue women in space and a snarky pilot. Dude, Jester.
Those are both well-known science fiction tropes.
Pneumatic Elephant says, great show. Feels like it's the news or something. Well, hold on now. Wicked Spider Black
news.
says, Casmo, Mover, and Doug play on Twitch. Come join them. Yes, please join us in Ghost Recon Blake
Sometimes I do.
Breakpoint. We play all the time.
I'll play with you.
Hell yeah. Davey
Tax write-off.
says, what's that? Tax write-off.
Tax write-off.
There you go.
Business.
After 650 days in Navy primary, I'm officially complete. Med down, new
Jesus.
syllabus. Thanks for the motivation. Make them tell you no.
50.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Is that
Lots
normal?
of people take that long. It's called doctors.
Lots of people.
No, it's a long time, but I mean,
I'm sure you're going to be great.
The
You're back
Navy
in.
is good
You're
at
back
that
in.
pace, right?
I don't
Gonky?
know how long that is.
650 days. That's years. It's like more than a
but
year.
that's just some
Well,
primary.
it's 365 in one, so
Yeah, that's a long time. I mean, he said he was what med
there's
down?
bubbles. I'm sure you guys have bubble problems too,
He was med
where you're
down.
sitting waiting.
Yeah, but not that long.
Med down a new syllabus. He says it right here. He says it in
Yeah,
the
that's
notes.
what I'm saying. Like if you're med down or a new syllabus, it could take you that long. I mean, it's abnormal, but
No, we're just giving them shit. If you're gonna be a pilot, you got to take shit. If you can't, don't be a
Oh.
pilot.
lots.
Yeah. Do they still do that
Fact.
though?
What?
Take shit.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
they-
a little.
They don't get beat up or anything, but I
You
think they
go to the
still-
airlines is what happens. Nobody wants to like everybody's walking on
Right.
eggshells. Like, oh, please don't. Oh, airlines. See ya.
True.
Rose says, haha, the mom of the main character is an Air Force major, and there's an Air Force base shown within the movie. Looks pretty fun based on the trailers.
What are we talking about?
Oh, that movie, the
Pixar.
Pixar movie with
Oh,
Force. Hawkeye says, hello, everyone, for the Miss Luna Support the Treat Fund. She's here. I've been afraid to do the camera due to my limitations, but there she is.
Mm.
She also enjoys space, as you can
You know,
see.
you
you
have a-
could, you
apparently
could
have a
probably
dog cam?
just stream that for 2 hours every Monday night, and never mind.
It'd
wait.
be
So
more
you have a
popular.
dog cam? You have a cam just set up for the dog?
The Luna Cam, yeah.
Huh.
Well, you don't like dogs because we were bonding so well, Casmo. And if you do that, I'm going to remove you.
No,
From
I
the
love
show.
dogs. I love
Okay,
people with
all right.
dogs. I love
right.
I love the
Yeah.
stories that you guys tell yourselves. My favorite.
Oh
You were
boy.
doing so well, dude.
I
You
love
were
dog
doing so
people.
well.
Oh, I never have kids. I can't have my life tied to something. Oh, it's 3:00. I gotta get home before my dog shits on the couch.
My dog does.
Casmo, you're about to lose your spot up there. Dude.
Yeah, hold on.
Hey, you asked me, all right?
I didn't. There was no one asked you. There were no questions to you.
Hey, but Casmo, there's so much truth in what you just said, dude.
It's
Oh,
not-
Gonky, you want
that's
to play
a real
too?
conversation.
No, listen, I have kids, and I have realized that, like, wow, it's kind of the same.
It's 100% the same, except eventually the kids can wipe their own butts, and they
Yeah.
The dog never. She
Dogs
has a
just-
doggy door. She just does her own thing.
Well, that's good.
Anyway, Kim Jong Un, North Korea's best Korea,
Hello.
says, "Hello again, fighter pilots. Today is National Honky Day in glorious North Korea. Good night, America. Have a good time."
Hey, I love your new ship.
Dude, yeah, the new ship on its. Thanks for the
New
side
ship,
view
blue
from the
ship.
satellite.
I remember that when I had battleships in the bathtub as a kid. It was a big problem. They'd flip over, get water in them.
All I can think about
Right.
was the poor guy that was in charge of that whole ship launching operation.
Don't worry,
Used
he's
to be
gone
the
now.
guy.
God rest his soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's dog food. He's dog
Right.
food now.
Yeah.
Heat Seeker says, "Well, now we need a Mover Ruins Gaming for the piloting scenes in Mass Effect. You can't ruin it. There's nothing to ruin.
Yeah.
Just have me on.
You'll just fall asleep. I mean, it's boring.
Oh, is this airplane in space?
I don't
Yeah,
understand.
Planes don't work in space.
Who's
Planes don't do
Edie?
space.
Why is it-
I tried to get there in my fighter jet and it didn't work. So.
Eject me, Wizzo." Kim Jong Un, North Korea's best Korea, says, "We love Gonky in North Korea. He come have a good time." Wouldn't that be wild, dude? If that was the real Kim Jong Un?
Oh, dude.
Would you go?
Dude, you know how
Fascinating.
Yeah. Would
you
you
would
go?
have so many briefings at the next drill period. I mean, like
Gonky would have a permanent spot in OSI.
I'd have a cadre of new friends.
No, all of the agents would want to know Gonky and
All.
the FBI and probably the ATF for some reason.
Why does he like you?
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke.
Gonky,
Sure you did.
we're going to send you in deep cover.
Yeah. It's like,
Well,
well,
you're the show.
you're definitely not receiving any financial compensation for anything. So we'll
He gave us
believe you.
$4.99.
Well, that's true. Other than the $4.99.
After taxes, $327 went to Gonky.
Right. We'll throw a tariff on there too. So it's actually
Yeah. Gonzo says, "Mover's knife hand is out. Watch out, Casmo." Yeah, you better calm yourself. Wicked Spider Black says, "Mover and Casmo new beef. Find out at the new 11." Bone says, "Kim Jong is Mang sense. Keep Gonky's deep hatred for space stems in North Korea's inability to reliably get there."
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
That's
pour one
funny.
out for the homies.
That's funny. Yeah.
Oh, dude, there's a movie about that where they interview Kim Jong.
Called
Kim Jong.
The
The
Interview.
interview. Yeah. Aptly named. Hey, we got
Couldn't
more
think
stuff
of anything else.
to talk about. Speaking of China, there's new images of China's new J-36.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
this
man. The
it?
more. Yeah. What's the title of that?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. Fuel debate on air elements. Yeah. Dude, the more pictures that come out of this thing, the more you're like, that's definitely not a fighter.
Well, no, it's not a
Yeah, it
fighter.
looks like
Did anybody
something out
ever
of like
click
Command and Conquer. It's gross.
Click on it. Enhance.
That's as big as it gets.
Dude, that intake is like right above the canopy. Like,
That's yeah. Is that what I'm seeing?
yeah, that's the third intake, like protruding right above your noggin.
Could we get a smaller picture? Thank you.
Um,
I appreciate that.
Anything else, Casmo?
Maybe
left
just a
arrow.
shadow. I don't know.
I'm from New York. I understand sarcasm.
Here, hit the left arrow.
Oh, now we're circles. This is cool.
Hit the arrow.
Can we enhance?
That's about.
We zoom in?
Make it.
All right. It looks like a micro machine, like toy. Oh,
Whoa.
Oh,
Sweet
who's
clay.
sweet clay? Doug. What's this going on?
We're having technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Gonky or Doug's Grinder account just popped up for some reason, and sweet clay. Sweet clay is the first thing you see. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. Oh, the beauty
All right.
of the live show. I love
Expert
it.
analysis. Go, Gonky.
Well, yeah. So it's got side-by-side seating. It has massive,
It's got cup holders,
massive.
got a CD player.
so they can hold hands.
So they
with
can hold
sweet
hands
clay.
on the way to.
So sweet clay can hold hands.
I mean, look at it, right. I mean, like
It's ugly.
not very fighterish, right?
Looks
So
like
side-by-side-
Mothman.
Yeah, big airplane, side-by-side seating, giant air intake.
Gear trucks.
For third engine. I mean, this is the stealth version of the Su-34, dude. Like this is their replacement for in my opinion, right? That thing side by side seating, it's big, it's got trucks, it's some sort of heavy deep strike fighter bomber, light bomber.
Hypersonic missiles.
Yeah, like standoff. I mean, this thing is
You jump out, you're in the intake.
There's no. Yeah, it's probably didn't even have ejection.
You
seat.
can't hot seat because you're in the intake.
Yeah, well, let's shut the
There's-
third engine down, right? Got 2 more.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
guess so.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not going to be a maneuverable machine, but I don't know. It could be really fast. Stealth. I don't think it'll be too stealthy, but it could be really fast, have a lot of gas, and have some decent standoff. But I think it's.
Do you think it's landing on a carrier? Because the Chinese carriers are wider.
Yeah, I
that-
I don't know. It depends on how strong the gear is, and
Doug, go back to the other picture, the zoomed out picture. The next one. Those things, isn't that what the Prowlers had
yeah, speed brakes on the wingtips.
on the wings? Yeah. Isn't that the Prowler setup?
Yeah, they had speed brakes on which allows you to come in with higher power setting, right? In case you need to go around. So
For a carrier.
or carrier, yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, dude, even the Tweet had similar stuff. It had thrust
did it?
Yeah, it had thrust attenuators. So it had basically mini thrust reversers that would pop out behind the engines, behind the nozzles. So
kidding.
you had to keep the throttles up a lot more on it. Yeah. And it still didn't have good engine response, but yeah, dude, those pictures just to me prove it's more of a long range strike airplane than any kind of a fighter. It might be awesome at it. I don't know, but I don't really see it as a fighter, more of a bomber.
I finally got it right, so I had to put it.
There we
Put
go.
that up.
Better late than never.
Mover, what's your expert analysis, sir?
I already gave it. I said it already.
Casmo, what do you think?
Looks like shit.
Okay, cool. It's like-
Okay. Well, good talk. Doug,
I
you
don't
got
know.
anything to add about that since you got the picture right?
I want to know what brand of gin.
for Casmo. All right.
Aviation gin.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, of course.
So a lot of dispute in the India-Pakistan community
Oh boy.
about kills and stuff, but India has now claimed the longest long-range surface-to-air kill, and they've got
That's the official release.
that is the
There's
whatever,
the proof.
That's the
India now officially holds the world record for the longest 315-kilometer surface-to-air kill in history.
Big,
India's
beautiful air-to-air
S-400
kill.
missile achieves record kill of an AWACS,
yeah.
allegedly
196 miles.
196. Is that nautical or statute?
I don't know, dude. I just did the Google translation. Tell me, as Mover would say, convert commie units to
Computer,
Freedom
tell me
units.
convert this to America.
right.
So the S-400 double-digit SAM from the Ruskies, they had gotten under a $5.4 billion deal. And obviously they had lost a couple aircraft prior to that in their own event. And then in May of 2025, they got their own kill and they hit a HAVA, so a high value asset, being the AWACS platform. And I have not seen any confirmation from the Pakistani side of losing an AWACS. Gonky, have you?
No, I mean, but that's a high value asset. That would probably be
Yeah.
something they'd want to keep close.
Yeah, so basically reports suggest this incident was part of a broader pattern of losses for the Pakistani Air Force in Operation Sindoor. It Saab Iri 2000 while being engaged in Pakistani Air Force. Implications are that this thing can reach out and touch someone very far away. And there's actually an S-500 Prometheus, which has a range even farther, almost double. Well, two-thirds more, yes, a third more. But it reaffirms its capability for long-range air. Scroll up, Doug. I just want to all the way to the top, all the way to the top,
Oh,
all the way up. So this is Indian defense. I just use caution when using any sources from either side of this conflict, because both sides like to make claims and then there's subsequently very little evidence. Even the air-to-air kill, right? They claim 6 kills, Pakistani side. The Indian Air Force comes out and said, we lost aircraft, but won't say how many. So it confirms that they lost more than one, plural, but we don't know exactly how many. And then this claim, of a 314 kilometer shot to a high value asset, we don't necessarily have third party confirmation on any of this. And that's all I'm cautioning. I'm not saying I believe it or don't believe it. I just caution that. But Gonky, what do you think about this? If let's say it's true, 100%.
Yeah, if it's true, it's quite the ability to reach out and destroy a target like that.
Non-maneuvering. I mean,
yeah,
you're not talking.
Yeah, I mean, if it's true, I doubt the Saab drivers even knew that they were being targeted, right? But like you said, man, I don't have a dog in this fight, right? I want peace, worldwide peace, but you do have to temper your sources, and there's a lot of I don't know. You just have to watch where you get your news. I mean, it's pretty hotly contested between the two countries. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Casmo?
Yeah, I don't know much to say.
I
don't know enough about it. I'm learning about it in real time, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, the implications being, you park a SAM like that next to a border, and now,
oh sure,
as soon as,
it makes me think. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole I can go on this one, but like, I think about anti-ISIS stuff in Syria when I was over there, and then like the escalation of force when you start talking about engaging air defense systems, because it causes people to turn on the bigger systems, which causes you to start worrying about where your tankers are. And of course, once you start doing that, then it completely changed the paradigm of all your fighters and stuff. So yeah, obviously if this is real, then it's a big deal.
Well, this is one of the things we talked about with the Ukraine conflict with, the F-16s. We're like, hey, you get these jets, and Russia parks a double-digit SAM. Well, we call them double-digit SAMs, but S-400, for example, you park that at the border, and now you're basically without seed. You are at the mercy of the SAM operator, which is why drones are prevalent, right? You need to use alternative tactics, and that may be the future. The drone warfare we saw in Ukraine may turn into destruction of enemy air defense tactics on the future battlefield.
Well, that's the thing that's always, as a not fighter guy, is fascinated me about the whole Ukraine thing from the get-go, is how many times there's drone footage, even back when they were using like big drones, right? Like it wasn't all this dynamic little stuff, but it was like, here's this big lumbering drone watching an SA whatever get blowed up, and it's like, but shouldn't it see the thing? Like I don't understand. Like, isn't that your whole purpose? And then how are these fighters having all these engagements and all these things are happening? Because it's a really confined area when you're talking about the distances the jets and missiles go, and it's like, how is this even happening? Because isn't the whole point of these missiles and radars to stop all that? So it's been very eye-opening for people like me that don't know anything about it to kind of watch, to see that it's not as foolproof as DCS would have you believe.
Well, alternatively, too, it may be like going back to the Indian shoot down. It could be a scenario which we've seen all too often where they trundled, right? They were in a protected area and loss of situational awareness, and they end up in a place that they shouldn't have been versus, which drives the lucky shot or the good shot, that they take, target of opportunity versus, this system was so badass that, they didn't plan for it. Sometimes human error can cause equipment to, most of the time that's how it works, right? It's not always no can defend like you're talking about. It's, we do something stupid and we end up in their engagement.
Well, and the other side of that coin, again, to go back to that sort of anecdote is it's not like these systems are on all the time, right? In this environment, you can't, because to leave it on, it's like having a flashlight on and just like, oh, where's he at? So same thing. There's got to be triggers and reasons to turn on the system, and so that's how some of this stuff happens. But yeah.
All right, moving on to dumber news. My state has now joined with other states pushing a chemtrail ban legislation through the House. And this woman from State Representative Kimberly Landry Coates, representative from Ponchatoula, which is like 20 miles from me, basically defended SB 46 on the House floor, saying she is concerned about aircraft leaving white streaks across the sky. She claims they're creating clouds and affecting weather patterns. The bill is to prevent any chemicals above us in the air, specifically to modify the weather. EPA says they're contrails, you idiot. They are formed when hot aircraft exhaust meets cold atmospheric conditions. Well, why they make the patterns? Anyway, but Coates and other lawmakers refer to the lines as chemtrails, and she claims they're made of nanochemicals that alter the weather. State Rep Candace Newell asked about the chemicals, and she said, other than the nanoparticles of aluminum, what else have you found? Barium. There's a few, some with long words that I can't pronounce, she says, but she just can't do it. Coates also claimed NOAA sends chemicals in the clouds to reflect sunlight and cool the Earth's surface. However, NOAA says it does no such thing and doesn't plan to. And then State Rep Willard says, who is doing this? Multiple people, multiple group, contractors even. Who are the contracts with? I've seen documents with at least 9 federal agencies. She regularly sees them because she lives in Ponchatoula and New Orleans International. The Harvey TACAN flies right to the Alexandria TACAN to Dallas, which is where all the airliners go. It's a jet route, but whatever. Once a week, you see people releasing stuff in the airway to the on the way to the Capitol. So I just need to look up. Probably haven't been looking up, Marcel says. And then 58 other idiots said yes to 32 not idiots. They said that if you see it, call the Louisiana Air National Guard. They will scramble the alert eagles.
Oh boy.
And
Hell
then,
yeah.
Flight time, baby.
She wants them to understand better. And dude, what?
Didn't we cover this like
Tennessee did this,
but that was like an April Fool's joke, wasn't it? We got bamboozled.
No, it turned out to be real.
Oh, it can't be real, dude.
Idiocracy has become a documentary, dude. I don't know how clear like.
I don't understand. You know, I have asked. I have had friends of mine like outside of aviation ask me like, "Hey, man, just the chemtrail thing, that's fake, right?" I'm like, yeah. Like just to be sure. I mean, I don't know. If you're not a pilot, I mean, I guess you'd be like, why are they making them white streaks up there?
Well,
right?
dude, I go back to our tactical time, as short as it was. You know, remember we would be up there and we would be marshaling and it'd be like marking, check cons, because we didn't want to be in the cons because that's part of the, hey, we don't want them to see us and stuff. Yeah. Like you could see the altitude, and sometimes it would be geographical where it would be one section of air and not another, but hey, we would brief it. It was part of our weather brief. The contrail level today is flight level, whatever, 410, 369, whatever it is. Yep. They do not teach enough science in school.
Yes.
Maybe
it's common sense. I don't know.
It's not even that. Look, there's no, like, homeless people have iPhones, like, in this day and age. So, like, there's no, like, I don't care if you don't know what causes a contrail. What I care about is that you're too stupid to just do the modicum amount of research required to figure out what it is. That's the problem.
Well, hold on. So I'll argue that because you're right. There is plenty of information. The problem is there's plenty of wrong information. You know, the flat earth people, the chemtrail people, like what they'll do is one person will take a modicum of truth, just something small, like just weather mod, for example, Gonky's weather mod that he did where
I was a cloud seeder.
Yeah, he was a cloud seeder.
Yes.
They'll take that little bit and then they'll doctor a picture. They'll take a picture of water barrels in a 747 doing weight testing, you know, for Boeing. And then they'll create this whole narrative. And then that gets spread. And then people, you know, it's the confirmation bias where they're looking for more information to prove their theory. And then they find like-minded individuals who also are idiots.
Echo chamber.
And they they're right. They create this echo chamber, and then the echo chamber amplifies it to the point where they're convincing people now who don't otherwise know. And the first thing when they Google it is like, oh yeah, you know,
Well,
and then
Dude, I just Googled it and AI's got it right. Didn't say anything about like, you know, there we go. The mind control juice that's probably coming out of that thing. I mean, like
Well-
Casmo said, if you
well,
Google it,
dihydrogen monoxide is a dangerous chemical, dude. I'm just
Everyone who's ever consumed it has or will die.
But I think what isn't it like Sweden or something, like they actually have a class in high school where they teach about misinformation. So I don't think that the issue is we don't teach enough science. I think the issue is we don't teach enough, I don't want to say common sense, but like how to live in this day and age.
yeah.
Right, because the internet and all the social media is still in the grand scheme of things it's brand new, and we don't know how to interpret it. And a lot of people just are, I mean, God, you don't spend 30 minutes on Facebook and you'll cite 1,000 examples of people that just like the AI picture. I keep loving seeing like an AI picture of Pete Hegseth like stopping on the side of the road to help wounded vets make a hamburger, and it's like the hamburger's like floating off the side of a spatula. You know, it's clearly AI. The words on his thing are just gibberish. And there's Margaret, you know, 80-year-old I love Christ on her Facebook page, and she's like, he's such a great guy, and it's like, dude, nah, it's not a real picture.
Well, even worse, I was scrolling the other day, and there was this picture of a soldier with his dog in the water with the canine, and the canine also had a ballistic helmet on. And you go to the comments, and they're like, "Oh, such a brave dog! I'm glad they're protecting his head." You know, oh, it's like,
Right.
You dumbass.
But Mover, dude, you've talked about this, man. It's the TikTok, right? Everybody sees it. It's a 15-second clip, right? The endless 15-second clips, and it just starts like reprogramming your brain. I mean, I like there, you know, like, do you get your face out of a phone? Disconnect from the internet. Like freaking, like, you know, do things outside, right? I mean, you can.
Well, that's the problem.
Somebody
She
corrected
did
me.
things outside, and she looked up, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's never been."
Yeah,
like
but
that
no, but what she
before."
did is she saw something she didn't understand when it looked it up on the internet. The first thing that came up was like, you know, chemtrails or whatever, and then she goes down this rabbit hole into the echo chamber, and I mean, without realizing, dude, it's
I bet you a constituent came to her and they were at like something, and she's like, you know what we really need to fix is them damn governments spraying us with the mind control. That's why they vote like they do. And like, I guarantee you that's how that started. And she's like, oh, well, tell me more. And then, you know, Numbnuts feeds all the bull that becomes this bill. And next thing you know, we're talking about this on the show.
Well, isn't Louisiana like 49th in education?
Doug?
It's a race between us, Mississippi, and New Mexico most years.
Hell
Race to the
yeah.
bottom. I will say that my kids started homeschool when we lived in Louisiana, and it was before COVID. So,
dude, my kids are homeschooled. I had to tell my dad like 15 years ago, Dad, not everything on the internet's true. Like, just pretend it's the National Enquirer, you know? Like, does that even exist anymore?
Well, because, and I think that people are going on this weird tangent, but I think people of that age, you know, because they grew up with very reputable sources.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like doctors, right? Like, oh, doctors know everything. It's not really, right? But like of that age, like, well, Dr. John said that it's, you know.
Yeah. No, you're right, Casmo. 100%, man. I mean, I've even watched, dude, for just giggles, I've watched like old, you know, newsreels from, you know, whatever, the moon land, and you just listen to the way they talk. It's very factual, you know. There's not
right. Welcome to BBC. This is the news.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Too much editorializing in the news.
Oh yeah.
Skunder says 3 engines close enough. Welcome back, KC-10. It's a missed opportunity if they don't make it a tanker too.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Kim Jong-un, North Korea's best Korea, says third intake is cooling intake for hypersonic missiles in weapons bay or for short supersonic bursts.
Okay, sir. Whatever you say.
Neo Zimu Wang. Hi, Mover. I saw you guys talk about J10 many times, but never review J10 TVC version demonstration on 2018. Expecting can see you and Gonky review on that.
Okay.
Mover ruins movies.
Neo Zimu Wang also says, looks like ex-Rafale France pilot ATE buy both from India and Pakistan side, and he still get a conclusion. Well, why don't you marry 8?
7, 8, 9.
Kim Jong-un, North Korea's best Korea. Don't seed my clouds, bro. He really loves you.
Oh, dude.
I hope it's the real Kim Jong-un.
Oh, God.
I hope so.
I do too.
Cocky's going to have somebody pull up behind his RV.
No,
You must come with us. Oh, no.
We.
We're never in the same room at the same time.
Next Monday, this will just be a blank screen.
Yeah. Stephen Billings,
It's like-
Air
The mover
Godzilla.
show.
Yeah.
Very rare mistake by the Red Arrows at an air show here in the UK this weekend. The two that make the heart both went in the same direction. The Reds displayed got back on track after that. So what is that?
So there's a. How do you? Wow.
Half
okay.
heart. Oh,
A
hey,
J?
good thing. Good
You
thing
like a
nobody
J,
hit
right?
me.
They had
thought
a half-hearted attempt.
It's the
Oh,
Casmo from the top rope.
wow. Love it. Oh, I thought it's the Spider-Man meme. You were going left. No, you were going left.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody had their newborn card upside down. It's happened. Yeah.
Pure Hum says chemtrails or fentanyl being smuggled in the U.S. from Canada. Skid says, mover, time to run for office. Not dumb enough.
Couldn't do any worse.
Bones says, it's all fun and games until the sheriff's office shows up at your door with a warrant for your arrest for contributing to chemtrails, mover. Plot twist. I am the sheriff's office.
Ooh.
Kim Jong-un, North Korea's best Korea, says maybe fighter pilots quit peeing in the clouds.
Oh, dude. But it stays in the bag. How does it get outside?
Steve likes Rhino. We should give airliners afterburners so they won't be conning anymore. That is false.
Yeah, they'll
They
still
absolutely will still
yeah.
con.
But just con
They'll
faster.
con more. Yeah, it's the warm air, cold air. Like no,
But
you
that'd
need-
be cool.
you
fly
need
an airliner
after
with
coolers. You need after coolers.
The coolers.
After
I
you have
think
to invent the after
I
cooler.
think that's master switch off, right?
Oh,
Battery.
you need like a net that you drag behind and
Net.
catches all the cloud.
Well, Casmo, let me introduce you to this idea. What about if the plane is on the treadmill and the contrails?
Get out of town.
the contrail will go
Way too
straight
much.
up.
I hate so much.
No
Get a
forward
little
motion.
gin and tonic.
Contrail goes straight up.
They're going to level 10 on a.
Jennifer says, but the chemtrails are real, man. $5 for conspiracy rants and lunatrees. Thank you. They don't read history books like your avatar, Jennifer. Kim Jong-un, North Korea's best Korea, says, we emulsified mud in Vietnam by seeding clouds. Mark says, I'll pay the fine of any military pilot who makes a chemtrail skyfalls over New Orleans. If we were still in, Gonky. Luca says, heading to the Navy recruiter tomorrow to sign for MEPS. I owe a lot to y'all in helping me decide if the military is right for me.
Awesome.
We take no responsibility for what happens next.
And yet you're still going to sign up. So
No, awesome though. That's awesome. That's where it starts. That's where dreams are made and dreams end sometimes. But
Neo Zimu Wang says, one more thing. Mover got a nickname in Chinese internet, which is Dogfight Guy.
oh,
dogfight
wow.
guy.
You are a dogfight guy?
I'm going to jail.
Oh, dude.
Oh, dude.
I'm
You'll
changing
be
my-
in North Korean
Changing you
prison.
in my
I'm going to be in
phone right now,
American
dude.
prison. It's going to be great.
And I'll take over the show.
Just be the gas.
We'll put you in the will. Hey,
The
speaking of
Casmo
conspiracies,
Wombat.
airliner hit a UFO at 35,000 feet.
No, didn't.
What do you mean it didn't?
Roger, all flights
Believe
standing
it.
by. I have an advisory and a SIGNET. And the advisory may or may not apply depending on your location. But
Faster and funnier,
I
dude.
am going to provide the advisory now. It's a little unique and unusual, so advise attention all aircraft. Attention all aircraft. In the vicinity, I mean the latitude and longitude. 3324
Oh, you already
north,
lost me.
3324 north, and 69er 75 west. So
Giggity.
if you're not
Nice.
in that a 50-mile region around that, it doesn't apply to you. So
You
50
had me at
nautical
6-9er.
Or 50 miles around NOSID, November Oscar Sierra India Delta. And once again, the 3324 north.
Just get to the point, dude. What are we looking for?
6975 west, or NOSID, and 50 miles around that area.
Yep.
This is a 5-minute video. Do you want me to skip anything?
Reported a small
Yeah.
linear object.
I don't believe any of
That was
this.
it.
Well,
'Cause
now
there's
we're
no
talking
New York
over. Back
controller
it
that
up.
talks
Stop
that
talking.
slow.
We're trying to
Hit by another flight. At flight
back it
level
up. Now you got to back it up because
350
we talked over the thing.
object.
Nope. One
Hit
more.
by another flight. At
Back it up more.
5 west, or NOSID, and 50 miles around that area. A flight reported a small linear object hit by another flight at flight level 350 and somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 feet above as well. Small linear object in this region. I have no other information on this object or what was the result of it. So I will go through and see if the flights have copied this. Quebec Echo 208, did you copy?
Is that it?
208, copy. United 3024, did you copy? United.
I think that's it.
Well, Casmo is our resident expert. Proceed.
I don't believe any of that because there's no way a New York controller talks that slow. Second of all, the moment he stopped transmitting, he'd be like, "Hey, Center American 271, check it in 350."
You're on
No.
guard.
Yeah, exactly. Guard. Yeah.
Meow.
So, but whatever. So is there any evidence that an airplane hit something? Anything at all?
This is all we have.
All right. So it's bullshit. So cool. Cool story.
Yeah. I thought there would be more to it. Like somebody actually saying, "Oh my God, we hit something,"
Right.
not, them reading out the note.
Yeah. Now, what I did see the other day, more fascinating than that, was an aircraft that said that asked the controller, "Hey, is so and so MOA active?" And he said no. And he's like, "Well, there's these things that are moving around over above us, and we're at like 38,000." That was a little more
Starlink.
compelling. No, there was like two, because then another aircraft was like behind him was like, "Yeah, we've been watching that too." But
Okay, well,
anyway.
we want to give credit to Avo Flight
Yes.
because that was obviously there. I don't know what a small linear object is,
Right.
but there's the New York Air Inc. Advisory on HF, which HF is going across the pond or in the waters airspace, or whatever they're calling it now. They always change the name. But since there's no airliner that reported hitting something, so it'd have to have been like a business jet, one of Casmo's people, or nothing. But it said he saw someone else hit something, which
It's weird.
that's
The-
like,
The UFO hit a UFO.
yeah, one jet hit a UFO. I don't know, and I don't know what you do with that information as a pilot.
Nothing.
Like somebody
Nothing.
tells me that, it's like, can I keep hitting my dinner or not? Do I need to put the seatbelt light on or no?
The moment center starts telling me segment for North Carolina, Georgia, but it's like I just shut my brain off. Like, whatever, dude. Like,
I'm looking at the radar. I don't need to-
exactly. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so nice about wide body flying is you turn all that off, and you do the ding dong, check in, and everything is Gonky. It's this technology where in the flight FMC, the computer, we just talk, we text. I don't ever talk to anybody.
Wow.
Yeah. So not even sure what a controller sounds like.
Really?
They're like
Yeah.
humans.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's right. Remember they had all those NOTAMs off the coast of Virginia, and then even down where we were flying Panama City about like objects hanging around, but like there were never any collisions like between objects or airplanes and objects. So
Professor Doug, how high can a balloon go?
Oh, a lot.
Like a
Is-
kid's balloon, like the
I
Mylar
don't know.
balloons?
Oh, I don't know about kids' balloons, but like some of the early altitude records were held by balloons.
No, but like just like
I'll
what
have to look it up.
an amateur balloon, like that just ends up in the atmosphere. Can it get that high? When you set off your
35,000? Oh yeah.
When you do your gender reveal, can
And the pink balloons
pink
make
balloon
it.
end up in 35,000 feet?
If you screw up in a parachute, you can end up that high. In a thunder.
Yeah,
That's
didn't
what
that
I'm
one
saying.
guy? That one guy rode a balloon. He went to like some crazy.
Yeah, he had his.
Up?
He had-
Was that
he had
the
a rifle?
with the house?
Yeah, he had his like
With a
BB
house,
gun and
yeah,
his
that's
lawn
right,
chair.
Mm.
He had 1,000 regular balloons in the house. That's a fact.
Well, that's what I'm saying is right. You see something far away, it's a big,
Right.
balloon or something. It's easily explainable.
The
Not
California Institute of Technology website says 5.7 to 6.6 miles. They're very specific.
Wow. Well, that's
How-
definitely past 35,000 feet.
don't know.
5280 times 6. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it can go that high.
okay. So it could be a balloon. Maybe
Could be.
that's why there's no reported damage or anything like that, because somebody saw a balloon hit the reflection of a Mylar balloon or something hits the thing, and I don't know, whatever. I would have muted it though. I wouldn't have listened to the.
Maybe they were
HF.
bored. They're like, normally we don't get voice out here. This is cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, mental health minute. You ready? Oh, wait. Let's see what the people at home said real quick. National Police Association for the Luna Treats and Pup Cup Fund. Thank you,
Wow. Thank
National
you.
Police Association. We appreciate you supporting Luna. She's gone now. She's gone to bed. They sponsored her training, and the reason that Luna's program exists that Casmo hates so much. As a
I
horrible
don't
human.
hate your dog's programs.
So Carl says, pull more pitch, dudes. Great show. Come on down under for a visit.
Thanks, Carl.
I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to like a microphone.
Well, you are. You're known as Dogfight Man in China.
You are
Dogfight
nerd
man.
dogfight man, dude.
Hold on. There's a way to fix that.
Oh, that's funny.
How do I fix that?
Can't. It's Dogfight Man.
I don't know. As the host, I don't know how to change my own.
Change your own name?
Oh, you gotta
There
like
we go. Oh, here we go.
Dogfight Man.
Dogfight man.
I got it right.
Put some accent to it too. Dogfight Man.
Let's see.
So, Mover is international.
No.
Number one. North Korean dogfight man.
Mm.
Person of the interweb. That's funny, dude.
Creighton says the Gonky needs gas money and
Yeah.
treats fun. Pass the hat for Gonky.
Thanks, man.
Gonky's struggling. Colton says there was a fix called Saucer. Did anyone else see that? I gave up. Connor says, I understand that the theme of the show is primarily related to experiences as pilots, but I was curious if you guys could share your thoughts, advice on being officers. Fresh ensign here. Cheers. It's not about you. Like, that's, to me, like the best advice. It's not about you. You're not the main character. Your job as an officer is to take care of people. And that means removing obstacles. And what in the world did you just do, Douglas?
I did a hotkey by accident. Hang on. This thing has
Oh.
hotkeys, but I don't know what they are.
Don't like that.
You're taking a pay cut, God. I'm sorry.
I already spent that money, Mover.
Oh, that's funny.
Haven't we all? Anyway, I would say take care of your people. I mean, that's really the thing. Treat them as you would like to be treated, enforce standards, uphold the standard, be the example that you want to see, and I don't know, be a good human. And I think that it works itself out. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I remember being a junior officer in the Navy, and I think probably the best tip I ever got was, you're probably gonna live and die by how good your chief is. So I always strove to have a good relationship with whoever the chief was in my shop. Learn from them because they've been in a long time, and they can really teach you a lot. Just because you got just because you're an officer doesn't mean you can do it better necessarily. So I usually let the chiefs run the show, and by the end of my tour, I did it, line divo, aircraft divo, stuff like that. I had a pretty good idea of how operations worked. I mean, I don't know if you're in an aviation squadron or whatever, but in a flying squadron, that was my experience. In addition to everything that Mover just said, you you're also kind of the screen between, even higher management. So, you and the chief work together to be the screen to make life as good as you can for the guys and gals that are in your shop.
Casmo, I mean, you've seen both sides of this. What is your take on this man's question?
Yeah, I mean, just be a good dude and like think about the impact of what you do. Like, I mean, I could fill hours with things that I think you should do, but just communicate. Just bad news doesn't get better with age, and just let people know what's going on and let them know the reality versus make up their own, because they will. I promise you that.
Yeah, good talk. Heat Seeker says, speaking of, did you see the Chinese paraglider got sucked up to 28,000 feet? Yeah, that dude froze.
To death?
I don't think he died. I think he's pretty miserable though.
Oh yeah, 28,000 feet.
I think he was not having a good day. Corvette World Rob says, the truth is out there.
I want to believe.
Yokian Dijai says, the International Adventures of Dogfight Man, Gonky's new comic book.
Dogfight Man.
Bestseller.
All right, dude. Mental health minute time. This is a good one, Gonky. Keep moving. I always do these mental health minutes after I go do something dumb or do something that makes me realize that. So I went to the range this weekend with Doug. Thanks, Doug, by the way. That was awesome. Thanks for having me out to your private range.
That was fun.
We went out and did some moving and shooting drills and, LARPing and kitted up and all that stuff. And I sent Gonky the video and he's like, yeah, dude, you look like Papa trying to get up, in the middle of the war. And I watched it and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm old and slow. But the thing is, it made me realize, one, it made me want to work harder, right, to get back into, some kind of fighting shape. But two, it made me realize that you rise to the level of your training, right? So, or anything. If you think that just the day that something's going to happen, that if you haven't been preparing, if you haven't been training, if you haven't been moving, that suddenly you're going to overcome all of that atrophy, you're wrong. Like, there's nothing more humbling than trying to run, and realizing, holy crap, I'm out of shape. And, meanwhile, your cameraman is like, why are you so winded all the time? I'm having no problems here. You run like a 60-year-old, but as he's making fun of me, that's what you told me. But I think there's a lesson in that. Number one, keep training, keep trying to make yourself better, but two, keep moving, whether that's something physically, because you always see it with people that, they get kind of a lifestyle where they used to be active and they put on weight or whatever, and they don't maintain that fitness. And now it's hard to bend over. It's hard to stay flexible and stuff, because we don't get better with age unless we keep our bodies in good shape. And really you're maintaining. But same thing with our mind. It doesn't get better if you dwell on stuff, if you keep the past holding you down from the future. And the only way to overcome that is to keep moving forward. Keep thinking of what the next thing is. People retire. Sometimes they don't survive much after retirement because they stop moving. They've worked their whole lives, that their job is their life, their mission. And the moment they retire, they don't pick up something else that keeps them moving. And next thing you know, you're like, hey, what happened to that guy? Oh, he just passed away, because I think health issues, they become tied with the mental side as well. So for me, I think the lesson there was, one, don't think that just because you used to be able to do it, you're going to be able to do it again unless you keep training and keep moving. And two, always be looking forward, always be trying to improve yourself, always be looking to the next thing, and don't let douchebag commenters keep you down from doing that when it does actually happen. Gonky, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if your mind and body aren't moving, you're dead, right? So I tell my wife all the time, like, I'm never going to retire, and she gets mad. But I tell her, I'm hopefully I'm not doing the same things I'm doing now. I'm just going to be doing different things. And the whole point is kind of like you said, Mover. And I saw my dad go through this. He retired twice. He retired the first time, got bored, went back to work, and he used to tell me, he's like, man, you got to have, he's like, he retired relatively young, and he's like, got to have a reason to get up in the morning, right? Just the mental game. Just don't want to lay around it and exist, right? That almost seems meaningless, right? Which nobody's life is meaningless. So, yeah, man, get out there and keep moving. You know, if you're, it's like the orthodox and the PT people I've been seeing. They're like, yeah, if you don't keep your joints moving, it's going to be bad news, right? Even if it hurts, keep moving. So, anything in life, whether it's I'm at the point in my life right now where I have, a lot of goals I'm working on, and sometimes it kind of hurts. Sometimes I don't really have the motivation, but I know in my mind, the work that I put in today, the potential rewards will be tomorrow, right? So with that mentality, you just keep moving and you keep grinding. So Casmo, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think you gotta stay physical. That's something that I've struggled with after retiring is, it's easy to like, oh, I'll be fine. And then before you know it, you're like, man, I can't bend over. So like, it's probably 6 months ago, I joined a gym and I make myself go, and it's hard on the road, but I try to. But I think that, you always hear about the mental health of working out, but it's true. So
Doug?
For the record, it is not my private range. I just wanted
I was going to say, dude, that place looked awesome.
It's an inside
legal
joke.
reasons.
It's an inside joke. It's a membership range, but 9 times out of 10 I go there. I'm by myself, so having Mover along was great. Anyway, yeah, and Mover, you pointed out the mental aspect of it too. You have to keep challenging yourself mentally. Challenging yourself physically is important for your health, but mentally is just as important. There's all kinds of studies to show that doing games, doing crossword puzzles, having debates with your friends, whatever, keeping socially and mentally engaged is a secret to longevity.
Yeah, if you want to live that long. This place is kind of getting kind of crappy, though. With all the stuff going on lately. I don't know.
Cool new video games keep coming out.
Yeah, Mass Effect 4. Talk it up.
Yeah, Mass Effect.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's a good mental health minute, I think. And it was short and sweet. John says, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Albert Einstein or Mike Tyson. We don't know. One will never know. Anyway, yeah, dude, you made a good point about the next thing you can't bend over, because you're like just a simple task. And you're like, how am I gonna
I went to the gym with my 19-year-old yesterday, and we were stretching, and he just bent over and touched his toes. I was like, enjoy that while it lasts.
Welcome to the Navy.
I spent years teaching about some of the effects of aging and kind of making fun of it. It's like there's all these inventories you take. Can you put on your shirt by yourself with no assistance? Can you tie your shoes? And I was like, that's really silly. And now it's not silly anymore.
Can you sit down without going, ugh?
Yeah.
Can you stand up without the neighbors knowing it?
That's the bad one, dude. Mike, because my knees and stuff, like my kids literally will make the sound effect when they squat down and stand up because daddy does it.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's like the panda in the zoo that makes the face when breaking the bamboo because it had no other pandas, so it just saw the workers struggling, so it's like, oh, I gotta make a face. Anyway, all right, Casmo, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
We always love you, even when you don't come on.
Yeah, just don't read the comments, man.
Don't read the comments.
I love the comments. The comments are tremendous.
They fuel me.
Same thing I tell Mover.
Right, that's built the energy.
Yeah, just ignore it, man.
Kim Jong-un, North Korea's best Korea.
Except his comments.
Soju and Gonky is all the world needs.
Rubbing alcohol.
Dude, it's a good thing nobody important watches this show because they would be like, all right, you're getting something from China. You're getting Kim Jong-un.
Mover, you and I both know that
that's true.
It shocks me who watches our show.
Yeah. Well, I like to live in this bubble if no one watches.
Yeah.
And so as long as that feels, dude, a light just appeared behind you.
Yeah.
They're coming. They are coming.
Get a free ride home.
Is it a weapon light? Is it on the end of an M4?
Probably.
All
They
right,
won't
Gonky.
find this restaurant.
Hey, dude, when you come back, we need to take you to Doug's private range and see
Okay.
if you can run.
No, I can't. I already tell you right now.
300-yard
Listen.
course in full kit.
I made
Mover
fun of you
has,
looking like an old man, but I couldn't do it, dude. I'm
Mover
more
has
stationary.
volunteered to loan me gear to prove that I can't.
I did not say you can't. I said you said I want to do this, and I said you want to do the running part, and you said yes, and I said, well, then you're going to need the kit, and so
Doesn't prove anything otherwise.
no, then it's like you got to embrace the suck, dude. I'm gonna feel really bad when he's out running me.
I was gonna say, Mover, you might not want to.
Yeah, be careful what
Dogfight
you
man
would.
may not want to
Luna.
open that.
And how did
Luna.
Doug end up in the emergency room?
Luna, dogfight man needs to start doing sprints.
That's
You're
right.
in. Oh, geez. Well, all right. Well, that's enough show for tonight. Casmo, thank you for.
Yeah,
wait,
thanks
what's your
again, man.
shirt say, Casmo?
Gaming makes me happy. You not so much.
Oh, well, we don't get to you not so much. So gaming makes me happy. Are you going to join Doug and I on Ghost Recon Breakpoint?
I want to. Yes, I will.
You got to buy it off the Ubisoft website. It's cheaper there.
Okay.
That's what we learned. Remember, Doug?
That is what we learned.
That's what we learned.
DA, that's not true. We read all of them. It's just really hard to keep up with all of them. And so we answer the ones that are automatically highlighted.
With money.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll do the whole.
we didn't,
the whole
we
show
didn't
would
build
be,
the we didn't build the system.
the
Yeah.
whole show would just be like
Yeah.
we never talked
Well,
about
you
anything.
you can do this. This is a new thing that StreamYard started doing.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it unless somebody up,
That's cool.
somebody
Yeah, but
higher than me
then-
on the masthead said it was okay.
Yeah, I don't think though. We got to talk about Manjot. Growing up, we were always told, conquer your mind, conquer the world. Also, Neil was talking about Pierre-Henri Chouet, ex-French fighter pilot.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's a callback to an hour ago. Cool.
But he's right. Conquer your mind, conquer the world. The
Mhm.
problem is my mind is very volatile. Very hard to conquer.
I can confirm this.
Yeah.
It's like I
Very
can-
tough. It
I
gets
can confirm
ideas
this.
and it cannot let go.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Mover's
Well,
always playing 4D chess.
or at least 6.9D.
5D.
6.9D chess.
All right. Good night, everybody. See you next week. Thanks, Casmo.
Thanks,
Have a good
man.
break.
Good night.
Bye bye.